Good evening, everyone. Good evening, cryptid fans, Bigfoot fans, Dogman, UFO, all of the above. All of the above. We got a great show tonight. Uh, we'll let him do some talking here shortly. And Mark, I really appreciate you coming on tonight because if there's anybody I enjoy just sitting back and listen, I say tell a story. A story doesn't do justice to something that may have happened. So, an incident, I'm going to use the word incident, that happened to you here recently. And we're looking forward to hearing about that. And I'm sure word for word, I'm going to believe every bit of it because you're not the kind of person, I think he's the kind of person who's just not going to tell you something, a made up story or anything. So, take it for what it's worth, 100%. And Chad, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. Enjoying the cool weather. Went to Hobby Lobby, got me some big feet stuff. So I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
It looks like he's passing in the background.
He's doing the patty walk.
Yeah.
Or she. Yeah. Pardon me. I don't know.
Need to put him on string, have him going back and forth back
there.
I should.
I got him hanging on my mic, but you can't see him.
I thought about somebody was like, why don't you get somebody to walk back there in a costume? I'm like, no, because that's making fun of it, and I don't want to make fun of this.
Right, exactly. How's Jeffrey?
Oh, fixing stuff, trying to keep everybody from tearing each other's heads off.
Understood. Believe me.
A lot of times it's me getting my head torn off, but
Yeah.
Not sure why, because I'm usually the one fixing everything. So
if you fix it right, it won't break, right?
Well, they're a little rough on stuff around here.
I know. Anyway, we're gonna. I was mentioning something to Jeff here not too long. The other day, I guess it was yesterday, maybe. I want to do a live show from over at the farm.
Yeah.
With a bonfire, small fire pit, whatever, not a bonfire, but a fire pit. And I believe somebody we know that's with us tonight is going to be making a trek northward. I believe in October. In October, and I'm thinking just maybe we can do it. Maybe
sounds good.
And that'd be a good idea, I think. So, Jeff, you need to get out.
We might have to do 2 lives at the same time. We'll have Rebecca running one, y'all running one. That'd throw everybody off.
That would be awesome. That's a plan. That's a plan. We might just do that. We might just do that. But
that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to coming up and checking out Gettysburg, visiting with y'all, and then visiting with Spencer and them. So we're looking forward to it. And I've never been to Maryland, so it'll be my first time in Maryland. So
I would tell you ain't missing anything, but we got some. There's some. As soon as he get Jeff told me the date, I'm like, oh my god, I started playing all this stuff. So wait a minute, give him time to breathe. They're here, but there's a lot of places I would just like to jump the truck with y'all and just take you to. Number one, the state park, Jeff. I'll drive all down through them narrow roads down there.
And, if I got time, I'll run him over. We'll run over the peninsula.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know how long he's going to stay. So, but that would be. I got to get over there. I keep saying I'm going to go over there. We haven't went over there yet. I
got to talk to him.
Weather's cooling off.
Burkhart's not available. His one buddy that's in the chat, Paul.
Yes.
We'll go out there with him.
Okay.
I don't know how much they've been doing out there, but
I haven't heard anything. So.
I haven't heard anything either.
But anyway, it's about Mark tonight. So chat, appreciate you all being in here. Goodness gracious, already 123 comments. I guess I better shut up and get over there and start checking stuff out. Please, all caps, if you have questions for Mark a little later in the podcast, please don't hit them too early. Because I'll lose them, and then, you didn't ask my question. Sorry. So, just kind of hold off a little bit later for your questions. Please put them in caps. I do my best to watch every post that comes in. So, Mark Green, welcome. Glad to have you. And I'm just going to turn it over to you because I've heard bits and pieces of your incident, and I'm excited to hear more. I don't know. What you tell us what you want to tell us about it.
All right. Yeah. Well, I did do a live from the spot Sunday morning. Me and Rebecca did.
Yeah, I watched it.
And I apologize for the audio. We did not realize, even though with the little microphones plugged into the phone, that you've got to stay pretty close. So
Yeah.
at times I would get a little ahead of Rebecca.
It sounded like you were yelling across the field.
And we didn't realize that because we had never done it that way before. So we have learned something that didn't work out as well. But I think everybody seen the spot that I was talking about. You kind of now know what I'm saying, what went on that day when I seen that. But what I'll do, let me back up a little bit to the fire pit that Saturday night before this took place. So the fire pit was here at my home on that Saturday night. And on Wednesday, me and my buddy cut one of the treetops out. And then Thursday's when I seen what I seen. But I'll go back to Saturday night. We was having a fire pit here at the house. We had a pretty good crowd. Some of y'all probably seen pictures where people were posting it on Facebook. Wendell is usually real good. Him and Miss Verby are real good about it. But Superfly and his wife, they smoke. They'd walk down toward my pond. And, they was getting away from everybody where they could smoke. And Superfly got my attention. Said, walk down here a minute. Well, about that time, Miss Eden was here too. They were visiting that week. And she would happen to walk down there with us. And we seen, and Superfly told me, he said, there's something black in that big treetop. And he said, I swore I seen it move. So I stood there a minute, and it did move. All of us seen it. Well, Superfly's wife, only one that had her phone with her right at the moment. I don't know. I guess my phone was in my pocket. I don't know where it was at. Because I was busy talking to people up here and everything. And she took some pictures down there. And they sent them to me later on. And you can see something black, but that's all you can do with it. Even zooming in, it just looks like a black blob sitting down there. So, I thought to myself, well, maybe the boogers are back. Maybe one's in the treetop checking us out since there's a big crowd in the yard. We had that night, maybe about 20 people here. So, my yard was full of vehicles, people talking, cutting up. So, more likely that would have, if something was close by, that could have drawn its attention. So I just thought, well, the boogers are back. Later that night, after everybody left, I did come out here and look around a few minutes with my thermal. Didn't see nothing. Went on in the house, went to bed. Wednesday, my buddy wanted some firewood. And I told him, we'll come down Wednesday morning after I get off work, and we'll cut you a load of wood. He come down. We started working on one of the other trees, and he told me, he said, man, something been walking up in this treetop. And you could tell the grass had been pushed down a good bit. And I said, well, that could be deer coming up in here, laying up in this treetop. But also in part of my mind was like, So I ended up walking to the other tree while he was sitting over there running the chainsaw, and sure enough, something had been going in out of that treetop, but you couldn't see tracks. And it could be deer. What we seen that night could have been a deer in there fooling around. I can't say, it was a black looking blob. And sometimes deer do tend to look kind of blackish color far off sometimes this time of year. And a lot of our deer in Alabama kind of get real red top, real red. So, well, these trees were laying on the ground. So these trees had fell from a storm. I just hadn't had time to cut them up. And you can walk in that treetop real easy right now. It's open enough you can walk in there. So I know somebody may have thought these trees were still standing. No, they're on the ground. So the next day, I had worked around the house and it got dry enough. I said, I need to disc my field. I'm trying to keep my field where I grow my watermelons and corn. I try to run through it every couple of weeks to kill any weeds coming up, morning glories and stuff like that. I let them get up a little bit, and before they get seed heads on them, I'll go through and disc them, and that slowly starts eliminating them, you know. I was running north and south with the tractor, and I had got done running north and south, and I turned east to west to run because I was double cutting it. And I had done just about all I needed was about 2 or 3 more rounds, and I was going to be through. I got within, I don't know, probably maybe, 30 yards from the wood line or something, heading toward the wood line. Maybe been back a little further. It's kind of hard to say. All of a sudden, 2 buck deer busted out of that wood line. And I'm talking about when they come out, they were hauling tail. They were not playing around. These deer were at full stride, and they were heading right toward me. And I'm going like, what in the world's going on? Well, they get within about 50, 60 foot of me, and they turn broadside to me, and they go to the north to the wood line. Well, I'm watching them. I'm just, I'm going on with the tractor, and I'm looking at them going in, and I watch them enter into the wood line. And I was like, Well, when I turned back, of course, I done got a lot closer to the wood line. And when I looked, there's an opening there. It ain't the best opening in the world, but there's some limbs and stuff. But straight back into that cutover, there's this black figure standing there, just standing there looking at me. And I'm looking, and first in my head was, Bigfoot. But then it turned. It turned sideways, and when it turned, I could see a short nozzle coming off its face, and I could see a little bitty pointed ears, not like Doberman Pinscher or German Shepherd. These were little ones. It turned, and it walked right back into that cutover, and that stuff's 6, 7 foot tall, and it just disappeared like that. Now, it was jet black, and the head was not proportional with the body. And what I mean, it had just enormous head when it turned. When you was looking at it straight on, you couldn't really tell it had a big head. But when it turned is when I could see how big its head was. And that head was probably that big around. Wow. And the rest of the body, what I could see, looked kind of slender looking. Couldn't see no tail. I couldn't see the hands or nothing like that. I could see the arms, and that was basically what I saw. And it turned. It didn't run. It didn't get in a hurry. It just took its time and walked right back into that cutover. I basically went ahead and just come on to the house with the tractor.
Yeah, I hope so.
I come on to the house with the tractor.
Now, Mark, we got to talk about what tractor you were driving.
No, we don't. No, we don't. I'm sure it was green, right?
Yeah, I was on the green one that day. So I get off the tractor and I call Rebecca. And I said, hey, I just saw something in that cutover, told her what I saw. And I said, I'm not going back out there. And if anybody watched that video of the day, you can kind of tell why I didn't go back out there. Once you walk into that cutover, that stuff is thick. You could be right next to something and not know it's standing there looking at you.
Sure.
There could be a herd of about 30 deer right there, and you wouldn't even. Right.
So I kind of left it alone. I talked to Spencer that evening. I called him, talked with him a little bit about it. And of course, that night we had our live on Thursday night. And of course, I talked a little bit about it. And I would say then it started really setting in on me later that evening. At first, I just didn't know what to think about it. But later, as the evening wore on and we got into our live, the more and more, it started bothering me a little bit. Of course, I told Rebecca to start watching herself here late in the evenings, feeding these goats out here with chickens, especially right at dark, to pay attention to her surroundings. Since then, it has stayed pretty quiet here. I was expecting, be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect, but I was expecting some activity to rev up, but it really hasn't. I did notice some watermelons were gone from a watermelon patch that I know wasn't deer or coyote. I mean, you can see where the watermelon set, and there is a trail coming into the watermelon patch. Now, I couldn't see no tracks, but let me say something back about that a minute. If a lot of y'all remember, back in May, I got a picture of a track in that same little spot right there. Now, several people told me that was a Dogman track when they looked at it. That's pretty familiar with Dogman.
Which one was that, Mark?
Huh?
Which track was that?
That was the one in May, and I think we showed it on a live. I didn't put it in a video. I think it was in one of our lives. Rebecca inserted it in one of our lives. I'd have to go back and look to see which one it was.
Because we never got around to doing a video.
Yeah, we never got around. And by the way, y'all, she's sitting right over here in the swing by me. So
I'm fixing to go in.
All right, back.
But I found that track back in May. At first, I thought I was just looking at a weird looking Bigfoot track, because the front of the track where the toes are was very wide, but when you got to the back, it got very narrow. Had a couple people say that could be a bear. I said, well, it wasn't but one track. It looked like a bear would have left more tracks. So that was kind of odd to me when I seen that track. It wasn't like the one I found in February over here toward the rabbit barn. This one was a lot smaller, but it was more wider. The one I found in February out by the rabbit barn was 17 inches long.
Wow.
And it had more of a human look to it. This over here had an odd look to it. And I don't know what live it was in. It's been probably a month ago. Been a while, maybe a month and a half ago.
Can you kind of describe what it looked like, Mark?
Well, I mean, it kind of just was real wide where the toes was, and it just kind of narrowed down, almost like a triangle, but you could see the heel part. And up front, you could see where the toes were, and it's just like it put one foot down, and that was the only track I could find out there. I mean, I walked back and forth, and it was strange, but it was right beside where the grass is. It was right there where the grass is, so it could have put one foot in the field and had the other in the grass and then went back out. I don't know. But that was back in May.
I feel like I remember seeing that.
Yeah. We really need to somehow set up on our YouTube some pictures where people can go look at them, I guess, somehow. I don't know how to do that, but might need to, figure out something to do.
I might try to go back
and find dogs get stirred up. But
you see, that was during a live. That particular, what you think may be a Dogman print, was during a live show,
right? Yeah, when I showed it, yeah. I never did end up doing a video on it. But
when you give me a chance, Mark, if you can find it, send it to me so I can look at it again.
I will. That when that happened, it really kind of floored me. I wasn't expecting that. I'm pretty used to boogers because I've been dealing with boogers since 2007, probably before that. And a booger usually doesn't do that right there too much, what I've seen. they're usually pretty good about hiding behind something or getting out of there quickly. This here left like he didn't have a care in the world. It's just like, hey, I'm not worried about you.
Right.
You know, he just casually left. Of course, all this took place in, 10 to 15, 20 seconds at the most. That was seeing the deer, the tractor moving, looking at him just slowly turning and walking back in. So we're talking maybe 15, 20 seconds probably. When we went down there to video the other day, there was a trail there, which could be the deer making that trail. I mean, you could tell something had been using that area. So since then, I've been trying to pay attention here. I've been trying to listen. And I had one person tell me this food with a lot of Dogman that I'd probably start seeing some little things happen around here. Not nothing big. Well, I was gonna get to it. Yeah. So,
she'll keep you straight.
Oh yeah. Going back to the day I seen that, one other thing did happen that day. Rebecca went down to feed the goats when she got in from work. I was up here feeding other animals, and I told her to pay attention down there, and if something went on, to holler at me. It was not too far apart, maybe 100 yards from each other, and I can see down there where she was at. And she come back up here and asked me. She said, "Did you sneeze a while ago?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, I said, I was up here in the front yard, babe." And she said, "Well," she said, "this sounded like it come from behind me in the woods." I said, "That wasn't me." So she heard that sneeze. So it's I don't know what that is. You know, I don't know what was going on there and everything. Hey, y'all, I hate to ask y'all this. Can I take a break for just a second?
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
No problem.
I'm going to mute myself real quick. There it is. And I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
No apologies.
No problem. Yeah, we'll have to. I might go back as long as the show don't run too late here tonight. I'm gonna go back and try to find that. I remember him doing one up by one of his sheds, one of his buildings. He found a print. I remember it showing that, but he's talking about something different.
This was out in the watermelon patch from last year, I think.
Last year,
Or
I thought he
last
said
year,
it was
this,
May or something.
or maybe it was this May. I'm sorry, I was thinking something else.
I have to go back.
Wow, I can't.
I might have seen it. I just don't remember. I'm sorry, Chad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I just can't imagine seeing something like that. And I know, there's so many people here that have had that experience, but either way, if it's a Bigfoot or a Dogman, it still scare the Jesus out of me.
Or even the G word, the Gug word.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I was going to say, yeah, have her
You can
step
talk
in.
to us. Turn the microphone back on. Talk to it. Oh, come on. It's okay. There you go. How's Rebecca?
I don't like talking.
Yes, you do.
Not really.
I don't blame you.
just
Jeff's
get
here.
around.
I know Jeff's here. I understand.
I'm surprised Becca hasn't snuck off to Dairy Queen with that mark.
She's considering it. She's sitting over there in the swing trying to be supportive, getting eat up by bugs. So, yeah, she's about had enough.
But don't worry, when you guys come up here in October, I think the bugs will be gone. So
Thank God.
I'll say the mosquitoes here are they're flying all around right now.
Uh-huh. And the little
I'm
no-see-ums.
Yeah.
The little
I'll wake up.
no-see-um.
Yeah, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have them all over my neck and mosquito bites.
Yep.
It's horrible.
My favorite ice cream. I'm reading the comments.
Yeah.
My favorite ice cream. All of them.
yeah, I've been sampling everything in the store, but I've been trying to limit it to a couple nights a week, so I'm not.
Hey, if we have a bonfire, we get to sample some of that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all come on down. We'll take you to Bluebell.
Well,
Okay, I'm on my way.
you guys are having a fire in my yard. You'll You'll be sitting right next to an ice cream store. So,
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. Got peach flavor of some sort? Caramel?
so we have Susquehanna peach.
Might
Yeah,
be all right.
one of our local dairy friends has their own creamery. So, I think I've told you that before.
Where are they at, Jeff?
It's Dallams.
Who?
The Dallams. Over there, if what's that one?
Are they over my way or?
No, they're like 543 down towards shit. What's that?
Shoot.
Hey, watch your language, Jeff.
Hold on, I'll look it up right now.
Okay, it's no big deal. That's fine. Yeah, the Gugway has got me interested because of some of the descriptions I've heard.
Yeah.
I want to.
I have no clue on Goatman, y'all. Mark keeps up with all that stuff.
This is
I have no idea about Goatman.
Not Goatman. Gugway.
No, Gugway. The Gugway.
Yeah, I'm with you, Becca. I'm with you. I don't.
It's another form of Bigfoot.
Oh, I see the question now. I was wondering why you bring up Goatman.
Reading the comments, somebody said bourbon and bonfire would go, is good together. And I was like, well, that'd probably sound like a good flavor for ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
With a bourbon and bonfire flavor for ice cream. Wonder what it would taste like. Splash bourbon
I bet it would be hot.
Where is it, Jeff?
Fountain Green.
Okay.
Chocolate's good. Chocolate is good.
Oh, yeah.
I work, the outside of my office is the snack machine. So people come up to the snack machine all day long and they're like, wonder what I want to get today. And I'm like, well, chocolate's always good. You can't go wrong with chocolate.
I'll agree with that.
Yep.
I just started getting into peanut butter shakes and stuff like that.
Oh, come just.
Oh, yeah.
That's only way to eat ice cream, Daddy. Only way.
Now, I love a peanut butter banana sandwich, but I don't want peanut butter flavor in and everything.
We've got a little general store here in town. It's like over 100 years old. Not in town, just outside of town. Over 100 years old, and they make homemade. Their ice cream's regular, but they mix it with like Jif peanut butter. So they actually use
the real
peanut butter. So as you're drinking the shake, chunks of peanut butter come up in there.
That sounds good, actually.
Jerry, it's on 543 almost to East Churchville is where it's at.
Okay.
That's where I thought it was. I had to look it up on the map to make sure because I haven't been over there.
I think I have a pretty good idea where you're talking about.
Yeah, we pick up ice cream from there at least every other week.
Okay.
Hey, Mac, us pre-diabetics have to stick with the yogurt too. We just splurge every now and then.
See, I'm pre-diabetic too. That's why I don't eat the ice cream all the time.
Yeah.
Oh. No.
I try to be good. Try.
We do the no sugar added stuff. It's really good, surprisingly.
Now, my mom was doing this keto friendly ice cream we were having in the store for a while, and it was pretty good, but it was nowhere nearly as good as the regular.
Do you sell any of it, or do you actually eat it all?
There is some that disappears into the personal freezer in the house. I mean,
it kind of has to.
I was in there eating the yogurts from Vaughn's the other day, and I said, Mom's like, you're eating the product. I'm like, nobody eats the coconut.
This is funny. This is funny.
Mark would. That just sounds awesome right there.
Oh, it does. I just said that to her. Oh, that's amazing.
Whew.
Only
they make the bacon topped donuts now. Bacon ice
they're
cream.
great.
Oh my gosh.
Bacon topped donuts
with
are
a
awesome.
stream of caramel in there. Go ahead and add that caramel. Yeah. Well, Mark is back.
I feel like this is the part in the show. It's like, let's all go to the concession stand thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got to break, everybody. Run and get your food, your ice cream.
That's it. All right. Well,
thank you for sitting in.
The timeout is over, so Mark is back. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Becca. See ya. Nice.
Sorry about that. I really apologize for that.
Oh, you're okay.
But,
hey, we were talking about ice cream, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Hey, That's Rebecca's favorite topic now.
Hey, bacon on
Okay.
top of a donut. If nobody's tried it, that stuff is amazing.
Bacon on top of donut.
Uh-huh.
You could put bacon on top of anything, and I'm game.
Anything.
So
Anything.
But I really appreciate y'all understanding that.
Mhm.
And I'm glad I had me a backup to jump in for me. So and
That's
everything. So
it's all good.
Yes,
Anyway,
you
where
guys
was
always
he at?
wanted to come to Bluebell.
Yeah.
hey, Bluebell ain't but a few miles away from me. So whenever y'all come to visit,
Give me 11 hours. I'll be there.
now just remember they're only open with ice cream parlor Monday through Friday. I don't know why they don't open on Saturdays, but man, they would probably get some business on Saturday.
It'll only be Wednesday. We can still go.
But now around here, there's plenty of places with Bluebell. So I don't know why somebody hadn't opened up an ice cream shop in
I can do that.
I
Early.
don't understand that
Yeah.
why somebody hadn't. But I
Yeah, there's a
apologize
few
for
of
that
them.
while ago, though.
That's
Oh,
okay.
you're good.
It's all good. I'm
All right.
interested. You got me interested in digging into some Gugway stuff now. But anyway,
Well,
You know,
I was gonna,
I
go
always
ahead.
had it in the back of my head.
well, what I was going to say is I talked to a few more people that one of them has had a lot of experience with what we think is a Gugway. But he doesn't call them that. But he said if I was going to call it anything, that's probably what I'd call it. But he had them on his grandfather's land. They would come in periodically, run the good Bigfoot out. And then I've talked to somebody else who's talked to some people that had these things show up. Now, typically, they say when these things show up, livestock, animals, all that, all kind of stuff starts happening, disappearing. Start hearing a lot of stuff, but seems to be the opposite. So those couple of people thought more toward that. And then I've had several people say, no, that sounds like a dog, man. So, but like everybody says, we really just don't know what I was looking at. One of the closest people that seen something very similar to it, besides these other two guys, was Jessica Jones when she was leaving Hollins back in June when they had the camp out down there. And she seen one of these type looking things on the side of the road with another one, but the other one had its back to her. Y'all can go back and find her show. I went and done a show with her, and we talked about that some. And then she's talked with it about a few other people. She had one of the Dogman people on from North America Dogman research, whatever they call that. But she described it as a kind of an African hyena looking thing, but it was real big. Of course, it showed its teeth to her when she got up real close to it in her car. So it didn't back down from her. And when she got on up the road a couple of 100 yards, there was a regular yard dog running up the middle of the road with its tail between its legs. She said it was hauling butt. So I'm wondering if those two things were after that dog, and she just happened to come along about time and broke it up. I don't know.
could be.
It wasn't too much further to a house. And then I know the people who owned the property right in there where she's seen that. And those people have experienced a lot of booger activity in their past there, which this wasn't a booger. This was something different. But it's right there at Talladega National Forest. So, I mean, who's to say it's in that forest, I know there's Dogman reports from that forest, especially up toward the Cheehaw end. That's where a lot of the Dogman reports come in from, is up in there. Or right below Cheehaw, I'll put it that way. There's some stuff that happens in that area. And of course, I'm dealing with Superfly. who's got him coming to his property.
Oh, wow.
A little bit. And I took a Dogman report from that same area about a year before I heard from Superfly. I talked to another guy who was leaving for work real early one morning. He come out of he went and spent the night with his girlfriend, and he left her place that morning at daylight, and that road come out into another road, and there was a cow pasture right across the road. And when he got to the stop sign across the road, he said all he described to me, he said, like a big German Shepherd on hind legs walking across the pasture. Didn't have a tail. And he turned and looked at him, and that's when he really got a good look at it. And what he described to me, similar to what I saw, really. But he said it had the big pointed ears that you could see real good, and its muzzle, he said, was pretty long, like a German Shepherd or but what I seen the other day didn't protrude out much. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 inches, just enough. When it turned its head, I could see that sticking out just a little bit. So
now, Mark, I got a thought.
Uh-oh.
Did it look anything like a baboon head?
maybe a little, maybe, but it'd been a lot bigger than a baboon. I mean,
because I've heard people say that about some of these gugway looking things that they kind of got a baboonish looking head on them.
Right. Of course, when I was looking at it straight on, I couldn't really tell much about it. All I could see was this black figure that I could tell was standing on 2 legs. But like I said, when it turned, I had that enough long to see, it had a little protrusion there, and you could see little bitty ears. I mean, I could make out the ears, even though he was probably 25 yards inside that cutover, and I'm probably out here 10 to 15 yards on this side. I could still look, I could tell there was like a little ear there, because it was sticking up. And, and I couldn't see a tail. And he was jet black. I'm talking about he was jet black. He didn't look like he had no other colors in him. He was jet black. So at nighttime, that sun gun could conceal himself good. Probably in the daytime too, but that black really stood out in that green. I mean, them two don't really go together. Right. So that's why I think he stood out, because that's real green back there. If you got to watch that video other day, you can tell it's real green, and him standing out, you could tell, and that may have made him look blacker. I don't know. Now the sun this was 4:00 in the evening. So the sun was more in the west. It was, still up pretty high, but the sun was toward me a little bit, which I had a tree line that was throwing some shade to my side. So the sun really wasn't in my eyes or nothing. And, the sun being on him could have made him even more blacker looking. I don't know, but he just really stood out, amongst that green. And like I said, he turned, he just walked right back in. I mean, he disappeared just like that. And when I walked out the other morning, when me and Rebecca done that live Sunday morning, when I walked in there, I could see why he disappeared so easy. I already knew it was thick in there, but I mean, I know I sent you some pictures back in the winter, Jeff, and you seen it looked like a nuclear bomb went off out there. Well, now it's weeds.
It's all grown up.
Yeah, it's 6-7 foot tall and thick as hair on a dog's back, and so.
There's a good question right there. Did you see the legs, Mark? I can't remember if I asked you that.
Couldn't really see the legs. I don't think there was no tail there though. I didn't see no tail when it turned. If it did have a tail, I couldn't tell it. And if it had a tail, it'd probably been a short one. I could not tell, and I couldn't see the feet. I knew it was on 2 legs. That's all I could really tell. I couldn't even never see the hands. He had to be in the 6 to 7 foot range because his head was pretty even with the weeds. The weeds out there are 6 to 7 foot tall.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And I still don't know what to do with it, even after I've talked to several people. Several people have told me just leave it alone, which I'm planning on to. I don't even know if it's still here or not. One guy said hopefully it was just passing through. So I don't know. I hadn't heard nothing from no neighbors. Been real quiet. I'm on our neighborhood has a watch thing on Facebook. Hadn't seen nothing pop up on there ordinary. Nobody's missing dogs, cats, or hearing anything. Usually when that goes on, you'll start seeing it. People say, "Hey, my dog's missing, my cat's missing," and so that has stayed real quiet. One thing I was gonna tell y'all, and I done mentioned it to y'all, but I'll tell everybody else. We have one of our chicken waters, which is a 15-gallon jug that soap comes in. They use the car washes. Y'all have probably seen them.
I've got stuff like that here at the barn for our chemical stuff.
Right. Well, I had washed this out real good, and we washed a bunch of them out. When we bought this place, the guy that used to own this place worked at a car wash. He had probably 50 of these things, and I've gave a bunch away, and I still got a bunch of them. But I washed them out real good, and we started using them for chicken waters and rabbit waters and stuff, because that holds a lot of water. Well, one of them had sprung a leak, and I pulled it back out of the pen, done some work on it, and I went and got some real good silicone. I think it's that DAP 732. We used to use it at the quarries and on flanges and tanks and stuff. And once that stuff dries, ain't nothing going to leak. In fact, when you get ready to take it off, you got to about near get a come along and a pry bar and pry it apart. But it's about like glue. The other day, I got out here and I fixed that one, and I put a good mound of silicone around this piece of pipe going into that tank. And I left it on the picnic table for a couple of days just to dry. Well, I went to put it in yesterday because I said, well, that thing's been drying for 4 days. And I filtered the silicone. Silicone was hard as a rock. But I didn't look all the way around it. I went on out, set it back in the chicken pen, hooked everything up, and started filling it up with water. All of a sudden, I sprung a leak. I said, man, what in the world? I said, there shouldn't be no leaks going on. And I got to looking real good. Up there on the top part, there's a dang fingerprint right there. Like something stuck its finger in it when it was wet. And I need to take a picture of it. I hadn't messed with it. I will try to take a picture of it tomorrow. But you can see it looked like a finger stuck in it. And I know that day I did not do that. And I know Rebecca didn't. Because what I did, I took a piece of cardboard after I put all that silicone and I kind of brushed it down in a comb shape, if y'all know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Where it would, go to that pipe better. But there is a finger. You can tell if something put its finger right in it and pulled it right out. And it had to do it when it was wet, which would have been probably Thursday night or sometime Friday. That stuff was probably set up by Friday evening. So it had to do it either that night after I done that. I can't explain that. We ain't had nobody else here. But it looked just like something was put its finger in it and pulled it back out. And that's what it looks like. So
Wow.
I will try to take a picture of that tomorrow. I've just been so busy the last couple of days trying to get hay cut and move a bunch of cross ties. And when that happened Monday, it frustrated me because there we went to walk, water flowing. And I said, oh, man, come on now. So, after all that work, and then when I got to really looking, I said, dang, it looked like a fingerprint in there, So, I don't know. That's one of them. What do you say? I mean, and I asked Rebecca, I said, did you touch that or anything? She said, no, I ain't touched that. So something had to go stick its finger in it. And
if it wasn't you two and you didn't have anybody over at your house or anything, and if you did, who's going to walk down and stick their finger in silicone?
right. So I've got to go back and fix that. Put some more silicone back on it, let it dry a few days. But I will try to take a picture of that before I
can see that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it don't really prove nothing, but I don't know what else would be out here playing around with something of that nature. And so, I meant to tell you too. You know, when I told you that John Deere tractor was dead this morning, I had to jump her off. I did find my light switch on, but I had plugged all them lights where they wouldn't, because, you know, I was having that issue for a while. Something kept turning them lights on that tractor at nighttime. You know, several times I've come in at night and them tractor lights be on, and I know it wasn't me turning them on. You know, I'd go down there and flip them off, you know, and then I'd come back a few days later, them tractor lights be back on again.
How about
Hey,
that?
Don,
You know,
Don Donaldson, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mark. Don Donaldson asked a little while ago, are there any homeless people in your area?
Yes.
Have you noticed any? Like maybe they're milling about out in the woods or on your farm, or
not really, not over here where I live at. I hadn't seen really no homeless people. You go to get on in Sylacauga, there's a few, but they stay in town usually.
that's they have, it makes sense.
I haven't seen anybody walking up and down the roads lately. Hadn't noticed anything of that sort lately.
Yeah, I just asked because, well, he asked, I'm just repeating because
Right.
maybe the light switch, you know, whatever on your tractor, maybe somebody flipped that on for the light for a little bit. You know, I'm not saying what you saw in the woods was a homeless person, unless it was a homeless basketball player, just because it was 7 feet tall. You know, it's not a whole lot of 7 feet tall people out there. So
Wearing a mask.
wearing a mask, yes.
Well, the guy who lives to that far corner, I know what he looks like. He's a short fella. Not saying nothing against you, Jeff, please. I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. But,
I'm
He's used to it.
But he's kind of a short fella, and he's kind of stocky built. And if it'd been him, I would recognize him. The guy who lives on the other side of the 80 acres, kind of back over yonder, he's a real skinny guy. He's about my height. He's about 6 foot tall. But this here, I don't know why he would have walked all the way across that cutover when he could come over here to my side of the house. And he knows me well. So we went to school together. And, I mean, we're on good terms. So for it to be somebody, I mean, what I seen was not a person.
Right.
Especially when its head turned. I knew then I was not looking at a human. You know, I was looking at something else. So
Yeah, I definitely not saying that's what you saw. I'm just going with the tractor light flipping on. Maybe that was or whatever light. That's what you saw. Definitely doesn't describe a human at all or a person for sure.
Do you have cameras? Do you have trail cameras watching your area, like where your equipment is or anything?
I have in the past, but I never would really catch anything. I've got a couple of game cameras going, but all I'm catching is deer on them and stuff like that. I'm not really catching anything else odd. I mean, I've caught orbs on my game cameras, but you know, little orbs fly, you know, coming through at night. But I never have caught nothing here on a game camera that I thought was suspicious, you know, except for the orbs. Now, a few times, you know, when I was doing videos around here is when I would catch stuff, you know, the corn patch. And then up on the hunting club, there was some stuff, you know, it showed up in some of my videos that were kind of strange. Of course, the corn patch says a lot for its own self, you know, because there is a little something with a little snout in a few of those pictures. It's not a fox. It's not a coyote. It's got a weird face to it. It wasn't a dog or nothing. It was in there at the same time that what I call the bucket-headed Bigfoot, the whatever was Dogman over here, and then there was a comb-headed Bigfoot in there, and then there was that big one. I can't even describe that thing's face when you pull it up. It has like ribs in its face. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, that throws me for a loop right there.
Hey, Mark, have you seen Jerry's picture? With the face? I was just curious if that's might be something. Maybe it looks like that.
Which picture now?
Jerry's got a picture that he took. It's got a short snout, taller ears. It definitely looks like a Dogman to me, or something similar. But I was just wondering if that was curious if that looked anything like what you would see.
The snout's not super pronounced. You've seen it, Mark. It's been a year ago, probably.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
I have. It has a snout as well, but not pronounced like you would think, like a longer snout. But it's more
short,
more condensed. Yeah.
I had to go back and look at that. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think you sent it to me, didn't you?
Yeah, I resent it to you. Yeah.
All right, resend it to me, and I'll check it out again.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with y'all. I get so many pictures. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get 50 pictures in a week, and I go through them, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff in them. I don't know what to do with them. All I can tell people, hey, I see something.
We're going to be going back over there here probably in another month or so. So
yeah. Well, when I got the corn patch pictures, that was in August. Here we are in August again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the same time the girl back through the woods here was having a lot of trouble. The lady, and by the way, y'all, she passed away here about a week ago. The lady that seen the one back over here.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to hear that too. She was having some pretty strong activity at her place for a while, and she got a good look at one. Now she said it was a booger, but now she described its face of skeleton looking. When it turned and looked at her, and that could have been the same one that was out here in the field, that old big one that had that weird face. That may have been the same one, and I'm wondering if it was the same booger. Maybe he's got a deformity or something. I don't know. But she described his face looking kind of white looking, and when he turned and looked at her, she said it kind of had a skeleton look to it. And when you see this picture, the one in the corn patch, he kind of has a skeleton a little bit look, but he's got these big, I don't know what they are, looks like big ribs just coming off his face. Yeah. It's just weird looking.
There was a photo on Facebook. Somebody showed something. It looked skeletal.
Yeah.
One of these things.
Well, I know Scott Carpenter got a few that had.
That's exactly where I saw it. T-Carp. Yep, that's the one.
He had some that was real white looking in the face. It was almost skeleton, and somebody else does. I can't remember. Somebody else has one with kind of a white looking face. So
that's where I seen it. Yep. And here's something Kevin just brought up. Kevin Betty. I wonder if ears and muzzle have anything to do with the age of the animals. Could be. We don't know, but that's an interesting thought.
That is possible, then.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could have been a deformity or something too. I don't know. It could have been a Bigfoot with a protruding mouth. Maybe. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I never have seen nothing like it. Wasn't like the one I seen in Lowndes County. What I seen in Lowndes County was lanky. Of course, it had its hair all over its face like a teenager, like a lot of teenagers do. And then the few up on the club that I've got glimpses of, I never really got a good look at their face because they were going away from me. And then, of course, at night time, you can't see what they look at. All you can do is see their eyes. And so it's hard to say what all of them really look like when I ain't really got a good full blown look, up close. And I don't really want one up close, to be honest with y'all.
No, not really.
Yeah, don't blame
I
you.
like that 30, 40 feet. I'm good with you. When you get within 5 foot, we got issues,
Well,
You know.
Mark, somebody just mentioned it. I know where that shorter snout picture came from, and that was Harley Owens.
Harley? Okay.
It's that one he caught behind him. You could see like the little short ears.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you were mentioning that to me when we talked after that happened, my mind immediately went to that picture because it's a real short snout, almost kind of like a pit bullish looking, and the ears are real small.
Right. I'll have to go check Harley's picture out and see if that looks anything like it. It's just weird. I really don't know what to do with it. Like most people say, just leave it alone, maybe to go on. I haven't, that's what I've said. I've kind of stayed out from out there. That way I don't entice something. Now, I did unload a bunch of cross ties out there today, but I had a buddy with me, and we was making a lot of racket. And I did kind of scan the wood line every now and then real good, but I didn't see anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, Ken. I remember that. Yeah, I agree with you. What she described. Yeah. And so, I'm just be paying attention, listening for neighbors to if they pop up all of a sudden with, hey, stuff's going on. Me and Rebecca did kind of look for tracks out in the field when we was out there a day. Didn't see nothing. All we seen was a lot of deer tracks. All my animals, livestock, is not acting nervous except for I got a rooster that wants to jump on me. He won't bother Rebecca. I can walk in that pen and that son gun goes flips out. I don't know why.
Well, that's when you turn it into
Well, Rebecca thinks something's coming up here at night, fooling with them a little bit. And it's big like me, and it's thinking I'm whatever's coming up here at nighttime. I don't know. I know all of a sudden, buddy, he turned mean overnight. And I'll walk in there and that son going to try to flog me.
Sounds like that rooster needs to go in a rotisserie.
Yeah. But now Rebecca can go in there. He's fine with her. And I feed them and water them just as much as she does. And I don't know, one day I went out there and that son of a gun pitched a fit with me. And so I don't know. He just, she thinks something's aggravating them. And I'm kind of tall and big, and she's thinking maybe it thinks I'm something else. Now, once I get in there, after a minute or two, it'll quit and go to the back with the hens. It won't come back up there. And there for a while, when I would go into the rabbit barn, the rabbits would jump. I mean, they used to never do that. But when I would walk in there, they'd all jump a minute. Then it's like they would realize it's me, and they'd calm down. We were finding cage doors open. We was finding the gate going out there open. So, I don't know. Something was fooling around out there.
Wow.
Yeah, that is interesting. Now, when did that start happening, Mark? When did they start acting like that?
Oh, that started about 2 years or 3 years ago with the rabbits when all that was out there in the corn patch.
What about the rooster?
Now, that just started this year with the rooster. Back about June when he started acting up a little funny. But now that track I was telling y'all about, the one that looks kind of like a Dogman track, was right there close to their pen. because we got this set of chickens over here on the other side of the house in a pen. It's her special chickens, so she's trying to keep them isolated from everything else. And of course, I got electric fence around it, and everything. Now we had some biddies go missing out of there, which was strange with electric fence around that.
Yeah.
I could, unless a hawk or an owl came down and grabbed and went back up. But that electric fence hadn't been touched. Nothing. I couldn't see where nothing put its hand on something and jumped over. But we had several biddies just like that in a few days go missing.
Now they were like bullet size, Mark?
They done got up about that big. So
they weren't quite the age they needed to be yet.
Right. And that was there in about a week's time. They disappeared on us. Usually, now I know sometimes, usually when a hawk or owl grabs a chicken, there's going to be feathers present.
Sure.
Because they're going to bust them. They're going to come down, whop, they bust them. And usually feathers, poof,
Yep.
And then they'll usually eat them right there. They're usually not going to pick them up and leave with them most of the time. They're usually going to, eat the breast.
Find the carcass laying there because a lot of times they're not going to fly off with it. So
now, of course, them being smaller chickens, an owl or a hawk probably could fly off with them. But there are still no signs of like something coming there. Because I've watched hawks hit chickens before. A lot of times they'll come and just hit them, and you'll see feathers just poof, like that, and then they'll jump back on them,
Yep.
There wasn't no big pile of feathers like you usually find. I can tell usually when a hawk's got a chicken out here because I'll find all the feathers and I'll keep walking around and I'll finally find the carcass.
Well, even a fox or something, anything like a raccoon, they're all going to leave feathers when they grab one.
Right.
I've never seen a critter grab a chicken and get out without leaving a trail of feathers.
Well, it's because that chicken's going to fight. So, its feathers are going to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, you think everybody thinks that all chickens are nice, cute, waddly. You grab a hold of one and it don't want to
cooperate.
It's gonna voice its opinion when
right.
you grab a hold of it.
Yeah.
Especially,
I don't think it was a coon or a fox because of having electric fence. I've got the electric fence in layers. And also there's deer netting around it. So they'd have to chew a hole or either they got to go all the way up that fence and come over. And that electric fence is on, and it's that far from the fence. So somewhere they're going to get popped.
Right.
And that thing puts out a pretty good pop because me and Rebecca both accidentally got hit by it. And I'm going to tell you, it don't feel good. And it's not a big charger.
Now, those little ones will zap you too, just as bad as the big ones.
Oh, yeah.
We got one here that's meant for 109 miles of fence, and I put it on the fence that has issues sometimes with some of our animals testing it down here at the house. When that thing is running, they don't go within like 4 feet of the damn edge of the fence when that sucker's on. So it's working.
Right.
You can tell animals know what electric is.
Yeah.
Especially ones been hit by it.
Yeah, well,
Them goats know it out there, buddy. I don't know if y'all watched Rebecca's little short she's been putting out. But we got one of those premier fences. Yeah. And it's made to move stuff. So, because what we're trying to do right now is right over our, not this big wood line where all that happened, but we got a smaller wood line up here behind my shop in the rabbit barn, and hedge bushes and all kind of stuff took over that area. So we've been fencing out little sections, letting them goats really take that section out.
They've been cleaning them briars up.
Oh yeah. Well, they wearing that privet out for me, and I'm proud of it. They eating the bark off of it and everything, and that'll kill that privet when they eat the bark off of it. But I did tell Rebecca when she started that, it was about the same time I seen that, and I said, now we're taking a chance of putting in goats right here because something could come in from behind. But then I got to thinking, if they really want to go, they're going to come up in front of the house and get it too.
That's right.
That ain't going to stop them, So, but like I said, the animals right now are not acting nervous here. My bird dogs, I mean, of course, they bark at nighttime a little bit. We got 2 outside cats. They don't seem to be nervous. Usually when I've got a bunch of boogers coming in, if it's like the past, I can usually start telling by the animals. They start acting funny. That hadn't been going on. So, that's where I say I don't know what to do with this out here. I'm hoping he was just whatever it was that was just passing through.
Right.
And I don't know if it was coming to look at me or it was hunting them deer. I don't know which one that was either. Was it hunting those deer, jumped them up, and it just happened to be right there at me when it jumped them? Or was it slipping up to see what I was doing? Because, I was making a bunch of racket out there with a tractor. Maybe it was coming up to see what I was up to. Because the day before, we had cut a tree out there. So, it's hard to say what was going on with that, too.
Everybody's trying to climb my lap.
You get that ready for rabbit season this year.
Well, there's enough rabbits around here. We just got to make sure he doesn't take off after the deer, because then I got to get the remote out and remind him of how that works.
Yeah, I bet y'all ought to have some good rabbit hunting up there around them edges and everything.
The rabbits actually, Mark, are just now starting to come back. We haven't had a decent rabbit population in several years.
Same here. Now they're everywhere here.
Yeah, I get nervous mowing the pasture. I'm like, God, I don't want to kill half the rabbits in the damn.
I know what you mean.
Because they'll shoot out of this side, and you'll go around and watch for them and start mowing again. They'll shoot over here again.
Yep.
Yeah, but for every 5 rabbits you kill, 50 more will show up. So,
well, around here, the rabbits have not. There haven't been a lot of rabbits in the last 10, 15 years, probably.
Well, that's the way it goes in cycles here. But now, when people quit trapping, trapping used to be a big thing here in the 60s and 70s, 80s.
Same here.
When the fur market fell out, because I had an uncle, he farmed, trapped, hunting fish. That's all he done. He was never married. He was a POW from World War II. And basically, he was my second daddy. He was my daddy's brother. And, we were all farming together because him and my dad was. So I spent a lot of time with him, too. And he treated me just like another son. And I used to go help him run them trap lines. And at the end of the season, when the guy from Tennessee that bought his furs, and I'd help him get them ready. I'm going to tell you, I've stretched many hides across the board and scrape everything, get them ready. I'm talking about that's work too.
I bet.
And then my uncle, when he'd get paid, he'd always bring me a little money. He said, "Here, here's your money for helping me." I said, "I'm just doing it to help you." He said, "Nah." But when I noticed the fur market go out, and then your coon hunters started dwindling too around here because of the hunting clubs, and a lot of hunting clubs don't want coon hunters in there because they think it disturbs the deer. I don't know how many times I've treed coons and deer be over here 50, 60 foot away from us watching.
Exactly, Mark. Those deer will just sit there. They don't care.
No, they don't care. And I had good coon dogs that wasn't going to run a deer. All they studied was coons. And when you turned them out, that's what they were going to look for.
Well, maybe you can help me teach this thing over here that rabbits are the order of the day, not.
But when the trapping and all that went out, and the coon hunters started dwindling some, we really noticed a high rise in the predators, the coons, the foxes, minks. The coyotes, all them really started rebounding, and I don't know how many coons I've trapped here in the last few years in a live trap, because I mean they're just getting into everything, and it's just coyotes that they're plentiful, the fox is black plentiful. But now I've seen a few rabbits this year around more than I've seen in the last few years. So maybe they're raised this year. I don't know.
He's been bringing me live ones out of nests around the yard and stuff around the place. I said, you're supposed to wait until they're old enough to chase, and I'm having to go pick them up. He didn't hurt them, but I just went and set them back over, and they just looked up at me, and then they walked off into the grass. I'm like, well, I'm glad you figured out you're supposed to leave. But I mean, they're only this big around. They're not.
Yeah, they're little young rabbits. Yeah.
I'd hear one squall and look out the window. I'm like, damn it. And I have to go out there and get it from him.
Yeah.
But so I'll say this too, going back to the sighting. I never did discount they wasn't dogmen around, because I've had witnesses tell me. I know too many people have seen them that I know is truthful. And there's been a few times I've heard some howls before, like up on Creepy Mountain or out on Talladega National Forest. It didn't sound right. They had a different tone to them than a coyote, a lot more volume to them. And, going to Superfly's place and a couple of other people's places, and I knew they existed, but I never thought I would lay my eyes on something like this. I always figured I'd be fooling with regular Bigfoot, or what I think's regular Bigfoot. I never thought I would run into something else, even though that picture in that corn patch told me there was something like that here. But till you see it in person, it's a whole different ball game.
I bet.
And it was another wake-up call to me that I need to really be paying attention what I'm looking for, because I might not be fooling with a Bigfoot. I might be fooling with something else. And I need to be a little more careful in certain places, just in case that's what I'm dealing with,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
and don't leave your pew at the house next time.
Yeah. But it's been it's really woke me up that these things are here too. They're not just Bigfoot. They're here too. There's probably more people in my area has probably seen them. They just probably hadn't come forward. They probably don't even know what to think about it. Because
that's all.
Most time everybody talks about Bigfoot all the time. That's a normal thing now. I know the Dogman thing kind of perked up a few years ago, got a lot of attention for a while, and it's kind of slowly, in some ways, dwindling down again. I don't know if everybody's just getting used to it, kind of like with the Bigfoot stuff. But it's, with what Jessica seen, what Superfly seeing, what the other guy seen, what I've seen now, and some other people that's in this chat now, they here too. Whatever that is, they're here too. And,
I know it was a brief sighting or incident, but you say you need to be more careful when you talk about what that could be around you. Do you feel threatened more so by something like that? I mean, did you have any kind of like a feared feeling whenever just that brief moment that you saw the being? I mean, did you feel threatened or?
I didn't really feel threatened, but I did feel like I needed to get out from down there. I had that feeling, hey, you need to get up toward the house and give whatever that was room down there. If that had been a regular Bigfoot, I'd probably still came on up here, but I would probably hung down there a little longer to see if he's gonna hang around. And why I say that, I'm going from past experience from Creepy Mountain, Talladega National Forest here to the house. Never really had trouble with them as far as acting aggressive toward me. I've been growled at a few times, but now I wonder if the growls were more something trying to talk to me than growling at me.
Yeah.
Of course, they've always thrown the little rocks, but they never try to hit you with them. The little sticks. Now, of course, they got, something got to coming up here hitting on the house after I'd leave for work at night, and they'd come up here when Rebecca was by herself, and they'd go hitting on the house. And that's about the same time something was playing with the solar lights on the house, and that's when we found that big thumbprint in that window unit at our bedroom. And for whatever put that thumbprint in there, had to be around 8 foot, 9 foot tall, and to reach them solar lights. So them solar lights are 10 foot off the ground, and I had to have a step ladder to get up there. Well, something kept flipping them solar lights off. Now, of course, it had a big button on it, and I went and got some with a smaller type button, and it's on the back side, and you have to know where you're looking for to find that little.
Okay.
Well, some people told me that, Miss Jean. Some people told me that. So
I never knew that.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to stick around and talk to him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just found it interesting that I know you've experienced Bigfoot before. Me too, as a kid, because I wouldn't know any feeling today. I would probably be a little concerned if I came across a Bigfoot. But I just found it interesting that you knew you needed to get away from it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So versus a Bigfoot where you feel you don't have to be in such an urgent.
Yeah. That really reminds me of what happened to me when I was hunting in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Because the only other time I obviously got out of there was the time that thing screamed at me. And that when something screams at you, it's time to leave. But
right.
that I didn't have the kind of feeling that I had about when I was in West Virginia with whatever that was. I just turned around. I'm like, nope, we're not hunting up here today. And I went back down the hill. I never do that. I don't think I've ever done that. I was just like, nope, we're not staying here. And I turned around and I backed down the hill until I thought I was far enough away from that spot where that ambush section was. And then I turned around and exited in a short order towards I went back and started upgrading the camp.
Right. Well, yeah, I felt the need that day to get out from down there. And when I got up here around the house and was helping her, she got home from work, and I think that's when anxiety started a little bit on me, or whatever you want, fear, kind of hit me a little more. Because the more and more I sit there and thought about it, I said, man, I looked at something totally different than I've seen before. And like on Creepy Mountain, me and Keith, Pat Rance, I don't know how many other people have been up there. We've sit up there at night times, a lot of times, and have the boogers all around us. You could see their eyes. You could hear them moving around. You could hear them. They start throwing their little sticks and rocks. That's it. That's all they would do. And at first, I was always getting nervous about it, but over time, I started feeling better about it with them, and got to kind of where we'd say, "Hey, how you doing tonight?" And kind of start talking to them, and they never did really do nothing, And Pat, I don't know how many times he spent the night up there in his booger buggy by himself.
Yeah.
And he'd hear them out there outside of his camper, but they'd be out there picking stuff up, playing with it, moving around, and they'd leave, And so they never did really try, seem like intimidation with us, we had that T-Rex caught, at Roar one time, and That's the only thing. If you go watch Jurassic Park, you hear that big T-Rex roar with that volume. This was similar to that. It had the volume, and you could feel it when you hit it in your chest. And he was a half a mile away from us, and
Wow.
But now we actually aggravated him to get him to do that. We really wasn't trying to. My buddy Keith just pulled that drum bull out and pulled that string. It makes that roar like that. And I mean, he ain't even got done with it. And this one was roaring back at us, from a half a mile away. And I mean, when we heard it, we was like, what in the world, because I never heard nothing like that before. I mean, it shocked us all. In fact, there was two other guys that had pulled up. They were just up riding around on a hunting club, and they'd been drinking a little bit. One of them, I think, he was over there sleeping in the passenger seat of the Jeep.
What's his name,
When
Jeff?
this thing roared, that son gun stood up and said, "What was that?" I mean, he come out, he was like, "What in the world?" And him and that dude got ready to leave. They went ahead and got on out of there. And me and Keith and my other friend Larry, we stood there for about another 30 minutes, but nothing ever else happened, and we left. But we didn't go back. We didn't go toward the area where that come from either. We stayed up there. Of course, Keith put the drum bull back up. We didn't pull that thing no more that night. And we pulled it a few more times there, but we never got that roar again. We get calls. Little old screams and little old hollers, but we would never get that roar again. So,
Very effective device.
Huh?
It sounds like a very effective device. Simple to make,
it works
you really get
sometimes.
results. Yeah.
I think Spencer's tried it a few times. I don't think he got nothing out of it. Now, when Spencer and Martin Ubel and a bunch of them were down here a couple of years ago, I pulled it, and we did get an answer. He was about a mile away, but he answered us when I pulled the drum bull. But he was a good mile away. In fact, I hate to say this, but he was over toward David Beasley's house when he hollered back at us. So he was over hanging out with David and them. So, if David had been at home, he'd probably heard him, So.
Yeah, he probably would have called Mark going, "What in the hell are you doing over there?"
Well, see, David, I live on the east side of the Creepy Mountain, and David lives basically on the west side. So we're roughly about 11 miles apart.
Yeah.
If you was to start walking from my house and stay straight, it's about 11 miles through there to his house. So, pretty good walk.
I know that Kenny's had, he's heard some stuff over there when he's been at David's.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they get up on that big ridge, and they're kind of behind David's, and they'll get up there and holler. But a lot of times when we would hear it, we would be back over here toward the east side of the club, and we'd hear them holler in there toward David's. And, and then so they use that whole mountain range up there and everything. So, it's a big old place, about 10,000 acres. So they got a good home up there. And I'm only 2.5 miles from the club. So they can get to me real easy if that's what's coming here. Sometimes I feel like these are coming from the north. I don't know why I feel that way. I don't feel like these are coming off the club all the way over here. Sometimes I feel like these are coming from north of me, which is pretty much nothing but woods, railroad, and farmland.
Could it be local? I seen Ken Shivers posted something about there's more stuff going into Cheehaw. Do you think it could be construction pushing them? Maybe something got disturbed somewhere, and it's
Well, I'll tell you what is going on around here in this part of Alabama, and maybe happened down in Ken Flat Rocks area. They really went back to cutting wood. They are wiping some woods out right now. They here in the last year between here and where I work at, I don't know how much land I have seen get cut over. I'm talking about some old trees. I've seen a lot of land get clear cut in the last, and just like here behind me, there's a bunch of land right north of me right now getting clear cut like crazy. So that clear cutting, I think it's going to mess them up a little while, but I think they'll come back into it, especially like this when it grows up. I mean, that's perfect habitat for deer, rabbits, and, a good place for them to get food. Plus, they can hide out there, because if you can walk within 5 foot of him, you might not never see him. Because all he'd have to do is lay down, and you wouldn't see him. And that's one reason I did not want to go in there too deep and get myself hemmed up, or them think I was being aggressive. Because, me walking in all of a sudden, they might take that as aggression too. And
right.
say, wait, we fixing, this dude's coming in on top of us. Which, I mean, I could probably make a bunch of racket before I got there, make a lot of racket. And, that might let them know I'm coming, and they might get back further away. But I don't want to I don't want to get within 5 or 6 foot of something and it stand up. Me and them ain't got nowhere to go,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Flat Rock just said they're doing a lot of clear cutting around him. So I knew the clear cutting, the wood cutting had really picked up because they built a new stud mill in Talladega, which is 20 miles north of me. Georgia Pacific went in there and redone that whole plant. And they're really using some wood, because they're doing the 2x4s and 2x6s. And then the paper mill, I heard, had revved up more, so they're using a lot more chips now. So the wood cutting has went up again. There for a while they wasn't hardly cutting no wood nowhere, because it wasn't bringing no money. And they about quit clear cutting, but now they're on a roll with it, right? In fact, I heard Cedar's running today over here on another piece of land. I may ride by there tomorrow and see if they're clear cutting in there. So this clear cutting could be moving them around in different places right now or something.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. Again, it's very possible. Very possible.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of development, did you see that those 70 houses are finally going in?
Where?
Across from right there in 24, across from from ShopRite on that corner. You know how when you're going through Forest Hill and you get to the 4-way?
Yes.
Right there on the right, across the road from the church.
Oh, really?
They're putting those houses started going in. Yep.
There ain't going to be a stitch of grass left in
they're-
this county.
They're doing a lot of that here. Everywhere you look, there's land
Down
getting
there,
cleared
anyway.
too for subdivision, for duplexes.
Yeah.
They putting in duplexes everywhere.
They've got duplexes everywhere. Like Jerry over there
In
where
Forest
they
Hill, yeah.
over there, and especially like over there in Hickory, right behind the Rofo, all that's nothing but now there's a Taco Bell and all these big,
Yep.
and they just put
5 big buildings there. Yeah.
a Sheetz right across the road, and I stopped there for breakfast a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the Sheetz is awesome. I love it.
Oh,
I've been in
man.
there a couple times now. Yeah.
You talk about their wraps. The truck will drive itself there for a French fry wrap if there's a.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, we've
amazing. I can't believe they crammed 5 buildings in there behind Rofo.
Oh my God, I know.
543.
And
And
how are they going to put
one.
all those houses in that field across from
I don't know.
Wells Fargo right there
I
in
don't
Forest Hill? It's like,
Yeah, we've been lucky. There's been no building except for people moving here from out of state, building these big houses out in the middle of nowhere. So that's about it for us. There's no.
well, let me tell you something. This
Big
place,
houses is better than what we're dealing with.
the way this place is set up, it will not be sold as anything but a one property.
Yeah.
Because we sold all the development rights off, and they could get it. They could get them back, but they'd have to spend a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
only allowed to build agricultural buildings.
Yep.
And family conveyance lots or replace a house or something. That's what we're allowed to do.
You know what seems to be happening? I'll say that around here is a lot of people are just buying motorhomes, travel trailers,
Yep.
parking them on, buying land and parking them there and living in that travel trailer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's
happening around here a good bit.
There's a thing going on around here. What's that travel deal now, Jerry, where you can park your camper on people's property?
Oh, yeah, Harvest Toast.
Yeah, Harvest Host.
Yeah.
And then you just go in and spend money at that farm and go on your way.
Don't have to, but it's kind of a thank you thing, because Harvest Toast, when you pull in there, it's free. You call ahead, but it's free. You don't have to pay to be there. Most of them, some you do, but they usually have an on-site business, be it like a microbrewery or what Jeff has, a little market there or something. So, out of the kindness of staying there for free and electric hookup or whatever, if you have electric hookup, you go patronize them. That's just kind of the respect thing, scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea, Jeff. You got enough land there to do it. So
yeah, we've talked about doing it.
It's not too far off the main road, so
no, it's not.
Just do it.
We're having a lot of people moving into Alabama with the automotive industry and then the aerospace industry, and so every time I turn around, and like in my local areas with the Facebooks, you'll see somebody say, "Hey, I'm fixing to move to Sylacauga or this place, and I'm looking for this." And I mean, I get where I see it regular. Used to not see that hardly.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of industry here too, even though we're still very rural. So a lot of people are coming in, and another thing makes Alabama real appealing is the low taxes, but also when you retire, you don't pay property tax no more. So we're getting a lot of retirees here.
Now, Mark, didn't I was talking to Greg about this. I think Kimber moved their manufacturing to Alabama, didn't they?
Yes, they're down around Troy.
Yeah.
Several poo-poo manufacturers have moved here to Alabama, and then we've got a lot of automotive, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, Mercedes. Then Polaris has moved here. Several more.
Polaris moved there too.
Yeah, we got a Polaris plant. We've got. You'd be surprised what's here in Alabama if you really go looking at it. People kind of overlook Alabama, but if you really get to reading up on it, what's here, there is a lot of stuff in this state.
I had some friends that worked up at Marysville Honda plant, and they ended up transferring to Montgomery, Alabama, at the plant there.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, are they still making those? They're still making those ridge lines, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're still a pretty popular vehicle, and I know a lot of people that still drive the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a very reliable vehicle.
My buddy George has had one. I don't know how old it is, but he's had it. That thing, I feel like forever. That's his hunting rig.
They still making them, and make the Passport and a Pilot. The CRV, all those are still being made, and
the CRV is not a bad vehicle. It's ugly looking, but I know a lot of people that own them, and they're very reliable.
Oh yeah, they're very good vehicles. And I'll tell you this, they're pretty much 99.9% American made.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize that, but they're pretty much completely American made. So. I hadn't seen those lights no more, Patrick. I mean, you seen that night going across the field. I hadn't seen them no more. So.
Now, Mark, didn't you guys see some eye shine or something that same night as that Didn't you say somebody saw some eyes or some sort of orb?
Yeah.
That night?
When
The night you guys seen
Right.
whatever was down by the treetop.
Right. When one of the people were leaving here, when they went up my driveway, which at the time the goats and all that stuff wasn't up there no more. They said that there was something by a tree. They just couldn't tell what it was. Didn't look very big, but they said there was something kind of peeping around the tree at them when it's coming up through there. Then it just, they couldn't see it no more. They were one of the last ones to leave too. They were kind of toward the back when they were leaving. That might have been one more person here. And me and that person, I think, was standing here talking when they left. And later on, they texted me and said, hey, I don't know what was standing out there by the road by a tree, but we seen the eyes looking at us. Now, it was inside my fence. My two dogs wasn't loose. Now, my two dogs were kind of stirred up during that time. They kept barking out there. So I don't know what that would have been. I don't think it'd have been a dog, because a dog would have had a hard time getting in there. But they said it didn't look like a coon or nothing. It wasn't too low to the ground. They said it was up kind of high. So I don't know what that was. I have no idea what that was out there fooling around. So, but they said they got a good look at both eyes looking at them. In fact, they sent me a picture of it. You can see two big eyes looking at them. They took a picture as they went by, but that's all you can tell is two big old eyes looking at them.
That kind of reminds me of the incident from Flat Rock's video chat the other night. I can't wait till they get that stabilized. And props to Kenny for videotaping that through the conference call, because otherwise nobody would have gotten to see it in the definition that it was, because they were able to blow it up.
Right.
So, and all of Flat Rock's pears are gone.
Hey, I was going to say something about that. Over at my mom's house, we got some pawpaw trees and big fig tree and pear trees and a few other trees. I had to cut the apple trees down. They finally died. I had to cut them down. But last Friday, I went over to my mom's house, and that pear tree was loaded to the gills. I mean, it was loaded. When you pulled up, all you could see was just pears everywhere.
Wow.
And I went over there yesterday because I wanted to check on them pawpaws. And, of course, some of the pawpaws were gone too. But when I looked at that pear tree, I said, well, dang, they must have all fell off, hit the ground. I walked up there, and there ain't a pear on the ground nowhere. So I'm sitting here scratching my head. And about that time, I see my brother-in-law pull in. But my niece is living in my mom's house right now. He come over there. And he seen me out there, and he come walking out there and was talking. I said, hey, did you come over and get the pears out of the tree? He said, no, I ain't got the pears out of it. I said, well, they gone. He got to look. He said, well, you right. He said, I looked at it Friday. I said, well, I did too. And I said, that sucker was loaded to the gills. And I mean, way on up in the top ain't no pears. And they ain't none on the ground nowhere. And I mean, there still may be 15 or 20 left on there. But
They were
Friday,
saving them for later.
I bet you Friday there was over a couple of hundred in that tree.
Oh,
But
wow.
I mean, they done had the limbs bowed down. They was about to breaking point. Because I told Rebecca, I said, man, I need to go over there and start pulling them pears. Because she's going to make some pear preserves and stuff. And
I love pears.
they gone. So, I mean,
It's weird.
Now,
did
do you
somebody
notice
come in
them
there and
taking
get
the
them? I don't know.
pawpaws? Do you notice them
Huh?
taking a lot of the pawpaws?
Do what now?
Do they like the pawpaws too?
I bet they do, because they got a banana taste to them.
Do
But
you
now you
ever
know-
notice when the pawpaws are cleaned out, or they normally leave them and go to the pears?
Well, both of them pretty much gone. There ain't no pawpaws over there either. There's some real green ones still in there. The green ones are hard. You can feel them. I mean, they're hard as a rock, just like when before the pears start turning, how they're hard as a rock. Well, when I looked over there last week, I seen a patch of pawpaws in there, a big bundle. I said, oh, they'll be ready by next week. most of them were gone. There was a couple laying on the ground. It was right.
Your Bud's right. You can never get all the pawpaws without eating half of them before it get to the.
Well, you about near got to eat them the day you pick them because they won't stay. You know, they
That's
won't.
like we got those. Jerry knows what I'm talking about. Those little wild blackberry bushes that grow all over the place through here.
Oh yeah.
When I used to go down to the family cabin, which we finally got an offer in on, Jerry. I think somebody's finally buying it. Anyway, you'd go up there and I'd start picking them. And by the time I get back, my grandmother would be like, all right, give me some so we can make jam. And I'd look down and my bucket was empty. I'd done eating all of them going down the hill towards it.
That'd be an interesting place to snoop around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Over there along a creek there, Rock Creek.
I wish we could keep it, but it needs so much work done to it. And it's just unfortunate time to let it go.
Trespassing rights.
Well, I've found tracks at my mom's place before, out in the field, and my parents' place ain't but 3 miles from me. And actually, from Creepy Mountain, her property would actually be closer to Creepy Mountain than I am right now. So
those boogers are just coming down and getting their pear ration and going back up on.
Well, it had to be either them or a person, but I don't know why somebody would have got them, how they would have got all them.
Yeah, because you need a tractor bucket or a ladder or.
Well, shoot, that tree's 20 foot tall. That's how big that parachute is. So something that either you have to have a stick knocking them off, but usually you're going to knock a bunch of leaves off doing that too.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no pear laying nowhere. And I'm going like, you know, this is weird here. So that caught me off guard yesterday. And I didn't go by there today. I'll go by there probably tomorrow. I may go ahead and pull, if there's any left, I may go ahead and pull them real quick where she'll have enough to make a few preserves out of them. But because you have to pull these and let them sit a little while to get a little softer before you can do anything with them anyway.
Yeah, because they're the harder pears.
Yeah, they're the hard.
I don't know much about pear trees, but we had a pear trees over here, and they were like that. You had to wait till they got real. You had to let them soften up.
Yeah.
They're not like those Oregon pears where you get them shipped in, and then you eat the whole box within the next, day and a half. Because that place out there knows how to grow pears.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something about pears. I ain't never been much of a drinking man. Most everybody knows that. Every now and then I'll drink a beer, but I mean that's once in a blue moon. Except
for your adventure on the mechanical bull.
Well, that was back in my younger days. I was way back in, yeah. But me and Rebecca one time went over to the Rattlesnake Saloon, which is a restaurant built in a cave over.
Yeah, Greg sent me videos of that place.
We went over there one weekend and we went over there to eat, and I kept looking up there. They kind of got like a little bar in there, but I mean, they had kids and everything in there too. They don't serve no hard liquor or nothing. They just serve beer or ciders. And I kept looking up there and I said, well, what kind of cider that is up there? Because I do like a cider every now and then. And waitress come by and I said, what kind of ciders y'all got? She said, well, we got apple, we got pear. And I said, pear? So I ain't never tried no pear cider. I said, let me try some of that.
Good.
That right there, if you don't watch it, would make me an alcoholic quick. I learned real quick. I did not need to drink many of them because, man, that was some of the best stuff I've ever drank in my life.
Yeah.
And I cannot hardly find it, which is probably a good thing that I can't find it. I know Angry Orchard makes some, but you can't hardly find it. But Angry
Orchard's real sweet.
This here, even Rebecca fell in love with it, and y'all had to get us. Me and her are not drinkers. I mean, that's just not something we really do. But I mean, she fell in love with it too. It's probably a good thing I can't find it much.
Now, is it their own special
It was a tap. I never did. I should have asked the girl who it was, but it was on a tap. And I've even thought about making some. Of course, I won't get to now since the tree's gone, but maybe next year I can set up and make some of my own, maybe,
I got a friend that makes he's made his own, cider for years. And every year he goes and gets one of them whiskey barrels and the used barrels that they sell, and he'll go have it over there to Lore's or one of them places, Jerry, and have it all pressed into the barrel.
Yep.
And he'll put his own special concoction in there, and he'll add raisins and some other stuff. And man, a good homemade barrel of apple cider is a good hard cider like that is hard to beat.
It is. I like cider.
My dad used to make wine here and stuff, pear and stuff.
Well, Jerry, you got a whole damn winery in your basement at your dad's house.
Yeah. It's all for
61
sale.
degrees here right now.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff for sale if anybody needs any bottling equipment.
We got the bottles. We got, you name it.
That uncle I was telling y'all about.
You've got the corker too, don't you, down there?
Yep. Self-sufficient. Do it all. Yep.
I just could never get into wine that much.
Dad's is really good.
I went through a phase, but
Some wine.
I quit drinking,
Like
so
the factory made wine, but homemade wine, I could. Man,
It was good.
you went
No,
through
His pear wine was really popular. The White Zinfandel he made was my favorite. That was good.
now I see Sherry Radway says dandelion wine. Is
My
that
grandfather used
That is
to
the
make
thing.
it.
Yes.
is that dandelions?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really? I'll try that.
dandelions are, a lot of people like to spray them and kill them out of their yard, but
Oh, we
they're
save 'em.
really,
Yep.
they're beneficial.
We make dandelion tea with them, and she'll put them
Yep.
in her salad, and
Yep.
it's so healthy. We don't spray our yard, so for that reason.
Peach. Yes, Roger. Yep. My dad made peach wine too, and it was quite popular.
Do you
Oh,
remember
I
those?
got
I knew somebody used to make them with the fox grapes.
We have two vines here, one in the back, one in the front. I don't know what they are, but well, they're white and purple, but I don't know what.
Well, the
Couldn't tell you what
musky
flavor it
dimes are really putting on right now. In fact, I need to pick some. I need to watch that musky dime vine. Lord, it may get hit before I do something with it. But Rebecca picked a bunch of them the other day. But something keeps. I don't know if I got acorns dropping out of the tree out here.
Something
keep hearing
tossing something
stuff.
at you, maybe.
Huh?
Your buddy might be trying to get your attention there.
I don't really feel nothing, but I keep hearing something hit the ground over here. I don't know. These trees are full of acorns, so they may be getting ready to start dropping some of them.
Okay, I was going to say you need to turn the camera.
Yeah, well, I've done shined the light while I've been sitting here a couple times. I ain't seen nothing. So, plus sister's out here with me somewhere. She was out here. Surprised she didn't go in the house for Rebecca. She's around here somewhere. She may be sitting up at the door, but yeah, a couple times I keep hearing something right over here on this side. That light just turned on for some reason.
Stay tuned, folks. This might get interesting.
Yeah, might be.
As long as they don't start throwing them at those potted plants behind you.
Yeah.
If we see a pot start swinging, we'll know what.
Or if you see me get up, move real quick, you know something's going on. You say, "Uh-oh." I'll try to leave the computer running.
Wow.
Hey, now one night, I'm not kidding you, me and Rebecca done a live one night out here. It was last year. It got kind of dark like this. And me and her kept hearing something moving around, and sister kept, you can see sister look up, look around. And we ended the live, she went on in, and I was bringing the computer in and stuff like that. I come back out to get something. I don't know, maybe in my drink glass or something. And right there on the end of my shop was boom. I mean, just like something slapped the fire out of that shop. There wasn't no wind out here.
I remember you telling me about that. You said you actually went out and looked.
Yeah. I looked around, didn't see nothing. I'm like, what in the world? And the next morning, I went and walked all around that shop, see if I find a rock or something. I didn't find a rock or nothing. So I think something was out here that night pilfering, because them bird dogs stayed real quiet. They didn't say nothing. Everything was quiet. And like I said, sister kept, kind of perking up, looking around, like she was looking for something. And of course, she went on in the house for Rebecca. As soon as Rebecca went in, left me out here,
Right.
So, but that was a weird night, because I mean, whatever hit that shop, hit it with force. I mean, it was loud. I mean, because Rebecca even heard it in the house. I looked everywhere and never found nothing. So I didn't find where anything hit the shop either, like a dent or something. And I looked for big rocks or anything, and I didn't find nothing. So I don't know what that was that night. And I know it wasn't that shop.
Have you taken the thermal out at all lately?
Took what out lately?
The thermal.
Here about a week ago, I scanned around here a little bit, but I've seen a few deer, but that's all I've seen.
I tell you, that was one of the best things I ever did, was buy one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It gave me a lot of headaches trying to find deer during hunting season.
Right. Oh yeah. When I didn't have one yet when that happened that night, but there's probably, if I could really sit out here like I need to, but it's hard to do that when you're still working for a living and everything. You know what I'm talking about, and farming and all that, man.
Well, it is nice to just sit down and decompress, because I like to go out here in the front.
Right.
With my cigars at night, even if it's late, and I'll sit out there and listen to stuff.
Yeah. Well, we've heard some crazy stuff sitting out here at night before. In fact, one night my cousin came over. She come over I don't forgot what she come to get. We was all just standing out here in the driveway talking. She was fixing to get ready to leave. Right back over here, about where I got the goats at now, something just started. And then you come on down. It was like it was running and doing it. And even my cousin looked over at me. She said, "Is that a Bigfoot?" I said, "Be honest with you, I don't know what it is." And it went on out into that pine, when it was a pine thicket then, and carried on for a minute. And she said, "Well, I've heard that over at my house before." Now she lives at the foot of Creepy Mountain. Her property is backed up to Creepy Mountain. And she said, "I've heard that up there behind the house before at night." And I went in and listened to a bunch of animal sounds. I could never find nothing like it. So it may have been a Bigfoot. But
wow.
I mean, they make weird noises, Mark. They make all sorts of weird
stuff. Yeah. And I don't know what that, I mean, it was like it was going across there, and it had to be running whatever was doing it, because it was moving. It was gaining ground. I mean, it got the dogs tore up around here. Every dog for miles was barking. And I mean, I don't know what that was that night. That was the craziest sound I ever heard before in my life. And it wasn't no owl, wasn't no fox. I mean, it was an odd sound. And I know foxes can really make some crazy sounds. But I went and listened to all kind of fox sounds. It was nothing near in fox. No owls, nothing like, I don't know what that was. It wasn't no crane or anything of that nature. But that son of a gun, when it went across there, it was making some racket. And I don't know what that was. It could have been a booger, or I don't know what it was. About the craziest sound I ever heard before. And when it finally got in that pine thicket back there, it shut up, So I was like, we all looking at each other like, what in the devil was that? So,
Wow.
Yeah. No,
All
it
I
was
hear
one
is that you want to get more lights and everything else around.
Well, yeah. I've been thinking about putting some more solar around my shop area. Especially with fall coming, I probably really need to do that with Rebecca. Because a lot of times she's going to get off after dark and she still had to come in and feed. So I probably really need to get some more lights that will come on while she's out here fooling around. Because I am going to probably try to go to day shift at first of the year. Night shift's wearing me out. And I've got the seniority to do it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and go to day shift and put up with the 3-ring circus on day shift. But, but I think it's time for me to do that. And 2, that will put me home every night. And I'm kind of feeling like I need to be at home at nighttime. Because that seems like when a lot of stuff happens around here is at nighttime. And I think I'd feel better being here more at night with her. And, you know what I'm saying? So
I think that's a great way to think.
Yep.
For sure.
And seeing that kind of pushed that a little further too. So
I bet.
Because in case that is hanging around here, who's to say it might not change its mind down the road and come up here and start fooling around too much? I don't know.
That's right.
At least
You
being
never
here,
want to take
I
that
might. Huh?
You don't want to take that chance.
Mm.
So I would go on if they let me do it now. I'd go on a day shift now, but I've got to wait till January to do it. So
They just want to keep all you good experienced people there. They don't want to have to hire on any new people to train, probably.
Well, I mean, that's a lot with industry now, especially in the maintenance department. A lot of you young guys and women none of them's going into maintenance. A lot of them, they want, not being ugly, but they want them office jobs where they can sit behind a computer. And what they don't realize, though, is skilled labor makes more than they make. Overtime and everything, but right now, skilled labor is paying some money. And it's a field that's not going nowhere. AI cannot duplicate maintenance that much. You still got to tear that machinery down with the wrenches and repair that stuff. AI is going to take over a lot of stuff. It's already taken over. In fact, I get so mad with this iPhone now. This sucker, AI just come out and ask me a question. Hey, what do you need to do? What you want me to do? And I'm going like, I ain't asked you nothing. I'm like, this thing's alive over here,
it is.
We can talk about that on my show sometime if you want to, buddy.
Hey, we will. Now, hey, I was going to tell y'all, I do have a video coming out tomorrow at lunch that's got me, Spencer, and David Hughes. And we went down a little different subject. I ain't going to tell everybody. Well, I'll tell you the name of it, The Coming Deception. And we really discussed AI, the alien thing, some biblical stuff. And it's our opinions. I know everybody's got different opinions. And but we had a pretty good discussion. I did tell David and Spencer once the video come out, we'd wait a week or so and do a live with me, Spencer, and David, and anybody else would like to jump in with us. Any of y'all welcome to. I'll set up a night. We'll go down that road a little more because I'm really seeing it because I'm in the maintenance field. I'm dealing a lot with computers too now in our maintenance field, and I'm really seeing this AI starting to do a lot of stuff in the maintenance field, and I'm kind of leery of it. I'm leery of it. I think, and just like my phone used to not do this, and all of a sudden it started talking back to me, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here,
Right.
and I'm not liking that. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard my phone. It just sitting on the counter, and it was like, what can I do for you? And I'm like, I didn't say
Yeah.
anything. I didn't say, hey Siri or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't know why my phone's talking to me.
Right. Right.
I get it.
Well, like I'll put my Bluetooth in and be out here working. It'll
That's
come
cool.
over my Bluetooth and it'll say, hey, what you wanting or what you need me to look up or something. And I'll be like, I ain't said a word, ain't done nothing.
Yep.
I'm sitting here working and this thing's talking to me, and I'm like, man, I don't like this too much. So,
Yeah, please let me know when you do the live, Mark. I'd love to.
Android, no problems
Yeah.
at all.
Android.
No problems at all.
Once in a while,
may-
mine will pop up ads for stuff that I was thinking about or
All the
talking
time.
about. But
No apples here.
I never get it asking me any questions.
Now pay attention to your. I don't want to get off on this, but pay attention to your.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, but pay attention to your TVs too, because you'll get ads
Yeah.
on your TV
Yes.
for
Yes.
something you might have been talking about as
It's
well. So,
computers, telephones, and TVs. It's
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah.
one big circle, especially if you got a smart TV.
yeah,
It
so,
is listening. It is watching. Yes.
So just remember when you're talking about things you're
Yep.
probably not supposed to be talking about.
That's a show for Chad.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree,
That's it.
Chad, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you, I've had several guys come to talk to me about stuff and they take and put their cell phone in the car and they say, hey, Mark, you mind putting your
Yep.
cell phone up somewhere? I mean, I've had that happen several times.
Yeah,
I said,
think
"Yes,
about
sir."
think about talking what you're talking about now with what you saw and everything. People are hearing that. You might get paid a visit some night. You don't know. Now, we did that thing on the Mothman the other night, and the Men in Black are involved in that too. So you might have to deal with
Yes.
that.
Mark, I do remember you mentioning that you've had black SUVs drive through the club before.
Yeah, way back yonder when we first started
Mhm.
reporting to the Alabama Bigfoot.com when it existed, we were putting our reports there. And Mr. Towle told me, he said, y'all may get visits from the government. I didn't really think much about that. But one morning we were up there running deer dogs. It was on a Saturday morning. We all met up. This is back when we was running deer dogs. We met up, done our draw, and was telling, putting our standards out. And back then we used CBs. And I started noticing a lot of chatter on the CB real quick. People was talking. I could hear people say, hey, there's a vehicle on the road. Hey, people talking. I got in the truck. And my buddy Keith, that was my research partner up on the club, a black SUV come by him and he was hollering at me. He said, hey, Mark, there's a black SUV coming. And he said, they wouldn't stop for me. I said, okay, I'll be watching for them. He said, they coming toward you. So I pulled off side the road and it wasn't a couple of minutes, here they come. I stepped on out of the truck, left the door open too, where, they going to have to slow down. They got right up there and he just went off the road just enough to get by me. And I was trying to get him, hey, stop. They didn't pay me no attention at all. And went on out the club. And then, I'm like, what was this? We went ahead and hunted, and we came back to the clubhouse, and another hunting club member come in late. And he got out of the truck, and he said, hey, game warden sitting down yonder down there at the road down yonder. I said, game warden sitting down there. And I knew the game warden real well. I called him. I had his phone number. I said, hey, what you doing sitting down there on the road? He said, oh, I'm filling out a report. I said, you don't know nothing about no black SUV being up here this morning, do you? No, I don't know nothing about no black SUV being up here. I said, you sure? I said, because they had to have a key to get in that gate. Because the first guy, we had an old man that would get up there at 4:30 every morning. He'd get up there, he'd get at the clubhouse, he'd drink coffee, and he'd wait for everybody else to start coming in, and he'd be the first one to unlock the gate. And he told me that morning, he said that gate was locked when I got here. And all the other gates on the club were locked that morning. Them people, whoever was in there, came in there after dark sometime or another, and they had to have a key to get in that place. There's no way around it. And unless they picked the lock or something, I don't know. But none of our locks were hurt. It was just odd, them coming through that morning, the game warden sitting down at the end of the road. And then it was in the next few weeks, the helicopters and the planes started flying treetop level up there. Now, Hunt Club is very close to our airport. At first, I said, well, that's people from the airport practicing, and because they have a little flight school out there and all that. And I said, well, that's people just practicing. But some of these helicopters would get up there on the club and they would just hover in places. They'd just sit there right above the tree level and hover. I said, man, that's odd right there. And some of the other guys in hunting clubs really started talking about it. I said, man, why is all these helicopters buzzing the hunting club so much for? And these little small planes just keep flying in circles and stuff. And then all of a sudden it just quit. It just like, it quit happening. But all that was right there in about a month's time with the black SUV, game warden sitting down there at the end of the road, and then the planes and helicopters there for a little while.
Interesting.
And of course, it was during the middle of hunting season. So, yeah, the hunters on the club are really noticing in that. And they've never buzzed us like that before up there. Even with that airport being that close to us. Usually when a plane goes over, he's heading straight on, or a helicopter, he's heading straight on. These, the plane was circling the club, and then the helicopter would just get in spots and hover, and then move over here and hover, like they were looking for something,
There's been times like that around here, and normally I would say, hey, that was, they're looking for pot or something, or they were looking for somebody that was injured. But there's been a lot of times it's the wrong time of year.
That's why I'm saying this was middle of winter time. This was January. There's hardly nothing green in the woods, and so they wasn't looking for pot because it wouldn't be growing that time of year. And that's what was odd about all that.
If there's an accident somewhere, somebody's going to be on a scanner.
Well, we had a plane crash up there one time, and while we were hunting, I'm not kidding you not, we were deer hunting. You could hear the plane. I mean, you could tell he was starting to stall, and he come down, and he went down in the club while we were there, and some of the club members got on over to him pretty quick. Of course, emergency people were on their way because I guess he done called in. And about that time, man, police and fire department piling in there. And of course, they didn't want us over there. And we couldn't even hunt over there for a week because the FFA came in there and just roped that big area off. We couldn't even go over there.
Yeah, once the NTSB shows up, you're not doing anything around there for a while.
Right. So that part of the club, we couldn't even go over and fool around. So, that's that type of stuff, that we've had happen up there before. So, but even with that happening, that was for a few weeks. Then they got the plane out, and that was the end of it. But, when we had those helicopters and planes doing all that, middle of January, that was just very odd,
Yeah, sounds like it.
And I did ask around, was the National Guard or anybody doing any maneuvers there? Because I knew some guys in the National Guard. I said, hey, y'all doing any airtight maneuvers or anything here in the last few weeks? They said, no. And these are good old boys. They'd tell me the truth. They said, no, we ain't been. They said, we all been going up to Pelham Range, which is in Anniston. They said, we've been going up there doing all our artillery drills and stuff. So, that was odd there,
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know when you're live.
Yeah.
Let me know when you do that live. I'd love to hop on or just talk with you guys for sure.
Right, I will.
Yeah.
Please.
I got a lot of more subjects I want to go down like that. course, I'm wanting to do a lot more biblical stuff and try to show people where, in my opinion, where all this stuff kind of coming from. And, later on, I'll get into some of that. And I got a minister that I'd like to get on. He's thinking about it. That's got some interesting stuff. So
Interesting.
I hope he'll go ahead and say, yeah, I'll do it. And he's got a big testimony to share, plus what he's witnessed as a minister. And so I'm hoping to have him on pretty soon. And because I love to hear when ministers and preachers
Oh, absolutely.
come out and start saying, yeah, I've seen this, and yes, this stuff exists too.
Yes.
That says something.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
Yeah, we just had one on a few weeks back. A guy,
Yeah, Tom Fody, the Air Force
Fody.
chaplain.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
And
show.
he's a Pennsylvania guy. He's not.
Yeah.
He's up in our wheelhouse.
Northwest. Yeah, he's over near Mary Fabian.
Isn't he out like Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just outside of Pittsburgh. Yeah,
So he's over toward the Ohio side over.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's not far from Mary Fabian at all.
Hey, Chad, when you were living in Ohio, of course, I've been around Marysville and Plain City a bunch. Been through Springville a few times, and of course, some of the guys I work with are from Springfield and Marysville and all in that area, Delaware and all that area. I was talking to them about, Bigfoot. And a couple of them did come out and say some of their kinfolks had seen stuff over, what's that big creek where all the covered bridges are?
Oh, wow.
What's the name of that? Darby. Is it Darby?
I think it's Darby.
Yeah, Darby Creek. I know me and my boy rode in there a lot. Well, Rebecca too, because I wanted to see all those covered bridges they had in there, and a real beautiful area, a lot of cornfields. But one guy that was from Springfield, which he moved to Marysville, but he told me some of his kinfolks around Springfield had seen what's that river? Is it
Great Miami, Little
Mud River?
Mad River. Yep.
Oh, the Mad River? Yeah.
Mad River. Yeah.
Good job, Jerry.
Yeah. Said that
Sorry.
his kinfolks had seen some because they kayaked down that river some
Mad River.
and seen, some boogers on the banks before down through there. Somewhere in there, about where that big Masonic retirement home is?
Yep. Know exactly where it is.
Well, somewhere right in that area, right through there somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of woods around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where they were seeing them at down in there.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I would have been more into all of this when I lived in Ohio, because I would have probably gone to, was that Salt Fork? Probably would have hung out there more and gone over to Hocking Hills more. But I was on the west side of Ohio, and Hocking Hills was on the complete east side of Ohio.
Right.
So her and I went a few times, and like I said, it was before we got into all of this with this group. So I would have paid a lot more attention to the woods then, but I didn't.
Well, Hocking Hills, that's a beautiful area, and I can see there's something definitely hang out in there. And Salt Fork, same way. Me and my boy went and walked a lot of them trails in Salt Fork. And I'll tell you, there's a few times me and him got the heebie-jeebies in there, a couple of places.
I bet.
We didn't see nothing.
Bud just went to Salt Fork.
Yeah. Salt Fork's a pretty neat looking place. But them Hocking Hills really got my attention over there. Some of them places in there, we walked some of them trails. In that Hocking Hill State Park, man, me and him actually got off the trail a little bit. There was a lot of people in there that day walking that main trail. But me and him took some of the little side trails. And there's a few times up in there, me and him was kind of felt like we was being watched up in there. But I tell you what I noticed in there. The people who were walking the trails, they were not paying attention to nothing. They were just talking, and like it was in a 90-mile-an-hour march coming through there. And I said, man, something could be sitting 30 foot off this trail and then nobody'd never see it because they were busy talking, walking so fast. And me and him, we were moving slow because we'd walk a little bit and I'd stop, look around for a little while, you know. And of course, I had my camera going because I said something might pop its head up somewhere around here. There's a lot of trees down in there. But there's a few times me and him got to feeling odd in there, you know, on some of them little off trails in there. So when I go back, I'm gonna try to go back to Hocking Hills. I really like that place.
It's beautiful. So much to do there too. So
yeah, it is.
You could, you know, take kids and stuff if people wanted to take their kids, and there's things there for the kids to do and hike. I mean, there's tons of hiking. There's cabins you can stay in. There's caves. There's all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a pretty place in there.
Yeah, but Bud just said, Blackie, you were in the bad part of Ohio. You were with the civilized Ohio. I always make fun of it because anybody, you know, has said to me, "Did you ever see any Bigfoot stuff around where you live?" And I said the Bigfoot would be too afraid because of all the gunshots going off. You know, when I live in here, I hear gunshots. I know the people, they're shooting on their land or they're hunting. You know, where I'm from in Dayton, you know, if you heard gunshots, there's probably a crime being committed.
Right.
So, kind of, you know, whole different world.
Now, Mark, have you ever been on any of the like places where I think I told Jerry about this, but I've been to places where, you know, especially here, I wasn't camping there, but I was down there fishing one night and I was leaving, and this couple pulled in there to the valley, Jerry. I don't remember if I told you this, but you know, they looked like they were heading off into the brush to fool around or, you know, and they had only walked back that trail for maybe, they'd been gone for 5 or 10 minutes. My buddy and I were standing out by the truck talking, and here they come hot footing it back to the truck. Like,
we'll take Mark down to the valley there.
What are they in such a hurry for? And they just got in the truck and left. I'm like, what? Wonder what that was all about.
Creepy. That place is creepy, especially in the evening when you got a fog growing in down there in the valley along the creek there. That's creepy.
Yeah, that was where my buddy George came across that car with that woman that had either had dementia or Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
She lived, what was it? Where did I say, Jerry? She was down towards
I can't remember. Yeah.
The like down there, Prince George's County or something.
Yeah. What in the road is she doing up there?
And that's what, 2 hours away, isn't it?
Oh, every bit.
Yeah. And this little old black woman had her damn walker in the back of the car too. And he said she was all nicely dressed. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. He was on his way to work. And he come down through that valley, and you ain't got cell service down in there where this car was off in the ditch. So he stopped and got his pew out and put it in his back and walked over to the car, you know, and was looking in the car. And she's saying, "Oh, my dog's back here with me too, and my friend was just here, but there ain't nobody around. There ain't nothing in the back of the car except for a walker." And he had to drive up top of the hill to call the sheriff to get service, and then he went back down there and waited for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is not a place.
That's a cool little spot down there. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely, that ain't far from the where we're from. So,
and there's a Dogman story from down in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't a good place for that woman probably to be either.
Yeah.
No.
She's probably very fortunate he came along.
Yeah.
Down here, we see that's the odd thing I see a lot of is we see a lot of cars off on side roads around here a lot. I mean, I see that a lot here lately. It's kind of weird. I don't know if many cars are breaking down. Maybe because people can't afford to fix them no more, and they just drive them till they die. I know going to work, I'm going to see 1 or 2 cars off on side of the road every time I go to work. And usually they won't let them sit there long. They'll put them orange stickers on them, and within a couple of days, I guess whoever the county uses for their towing services comes and gets them. But it's just strange. I used to not never see that hardly. I mean, every once in a blue moon, you see somebody broke down, but usually they'd be there with the car, have their emergency, blinkers going. A lot of times I've pulled over and asked them, could I help? Or, most of them say, well, I got somebody on the way, or I got a tow truck on the way. And now it's like people are just abandoning them on the side of the highway. And,
That's exactly what I think. Even though they're going to figure out who owns the car, you're going to have to pay a fine probably, but
yeah,
it's a good way to get rid of the car.
Where I live on my dead end road, if there's a car sitting on the side of the road at night, someone is getting a visit.
Yeah, it seems to happen a lot over there. That's
usually ends up with a large spotlight getting pointed into the window or something along the lines.
And a pew pew.
I'll tell you what's crazy.
Yeah, a pew pew in the other hand. That's a large pump action pew pew. Generally, try not to do that too much, because you don't know if you're rolling up on a car if what's going on there. But I will say, if it stops down here or anywhere between here and the farm, and I'm going in there at 4:30 in the morning, and there's a car sitting in the middle of the road, that thing is getting lit up with a light.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what,
the neighborhood, teenagers or something fooling around or something, but it's
they have a lot of people break down in front of our house. I ain't never figured it out. Run out of gas, flat tires. I watched one dude come down the road one day. Now I heard him way off. I could hear the wumpity, wumpity, wumpity. I was like, that dude's got a flat tire. He came on and went all the way in front of and went on up the road with a flat tire. Now, and I'm going like, man, you gonna run your rim? Just went on. And I don't know how many people have run out of gas right here in front of my house. I guess I'm the service station for this road, I guess. I'll out there, pour them a few gallons. Maybe they get you to the store, and I don't know. I don't know how many times you could ask Rebecca. I've done quick counting, but I don't know how many times I've seen people come by with flat tires or get them right here in front of my house. And I'm not getting flat tires, and my neighbors are not, but these people are, and I don't know what the deal is. It's just funny. I'm like, man, this is weird here. Why right here in front of my house all the time? And I've had several of them, change their tire out there in, my front yard. But, they'd pull off side of the road. I walked out there and tried to help some of them, and a lot of times they had their stuff, and it's just weird. I'll be like, man, what's the deal here? So
yeah, it is weird.
It's the feds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're disabling their car in front of your house.
Yeah.
Have to open up a little roadside gas station, old school gas station thing there.
There you go.
It ain't happened lately. It's been a while since the last one, but the last one that come through was the guy with the flat tire, and he just went on. He was running about 20 miles an hour, went on down the road, and I'm like, I said, surely he knows he got a flat tire, because that car was wumpity.
The last time I went to get tires put on that one truck, I was at that Mexican tire guy right there across the river, Kerry.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many, when he was getting because I'll just throw whatever on that one old farm truck. It don't matter, if they match or whatever is close enough. If I can run it around here, I don't care. So. And he's usually got some pretty decent tires, even new ones. But these people come in there, and there's probably 5 or 6 come in a line, had donuts on, needed to fix their regular tires so they could put them back on. But man, I don't know where people are picking up all these flats from, because
that's what I was trying to figure out. If somebody done throwed a bunch of screws out in the road somewhere,
or they fell off a work truck, or
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, but it ain't happened lately. Last one I seen was that dude with the tire. It's probably been about a year since I had somebody run out of gas here. But
They'd be driving faster on that flat tire if there was a booger chasing them down.
That's
I'd
funny,
be-
Hillary. I agree with you.
I'd be throwing sparks going down the road if I seen one of them damn things behind me.
Oh yeah. You know, there was somebody, who was that? Oh, let me tell y'all about this a minute. This happened years ago. They're talking about a flat tire. Larry, some of y'all have seen Larry on one or two of my videos before. Got coon hunted with me for years, and he's the one that's still kind of skeptical, even though he's been there when a lot of stuff happened. But his cousin of his, we used to have a lot of cotton mills here in Sylacauga and around the area, and his cousin worked at one of them on third shift, and this was the Sycamore cotton mill in the little community of Sycamore, and he was driving the back road from Sylacauga to Sycamore, which they call the Old Field Road. And there's been boogers seen out there before. Well, he had a flat tire on the way to work, and where he had his flat tire at was in a big pasture area, a bunch of pasture land there. He got out and started changing his tire, and he heard something in the road, and he happened to look back up the road, and there's enough ambient light. He could see a figure coming down the road, and he just thought it was a person walking, because back then that was a little more common to see. People didn't think much about that. Well, he got back to working on the tire, and he could tell the figure was getting closer, and finally the figure got up within, maybe 60, 70 feet from him, and he stood up, going to speak to him. He said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" But the person didn't speak back, and he didn't, and the figure kind of just stopped and started looking at him. And, he kind of looked, kind of kept looking, and it kind of made him nervous. So he went back to hurrying up, changing his tire. He said, I don't know what's wrong with this dude here, Well, the figure approached to him a little closer. And he stood back up and he said, "Hey, now," he said, "you could at least speak back to me," or something like that. Well, the figure came on up toward him. And then that's when he realized he wasn't talking to a human.
Oh, wow.
And he described it as hairy looking and all that. And this thing tried to come on up to him, and he reared back with a tire tube. Told him, said, I'll knock you out with this thing. So that thing turned around and went down on all fours, went down in that ditch, and just dove over that fence like it wasn't nothing, went across that cow pasture screaming. Of course, he said he forgot about changing the tire, which he had done had the tire about on. I think he just got the lug nuts tight as he could get them, and he jumped in the car and he took off.
Sure.
Get the spare tire. Do you leave it in the road?
I don't know. They never did mention about the spare tire, but he said it shook his cousin up big time. Of course, they messed with him because they said, "Oh, you seeing stuff," but that guy just sit there described a Bigfoot. That's what he described, and this would have been probably in the 70s, and of course, what was it up to? I have no idea. Why it would stay in the road with him, but when
Maybe he wanted to help change the tire.
Well, but when he reared back with that tire tube, I guess it got the message. Hey, I'm not, he's not fooling with me, and it left. So,
hey, if I was having trouble jacking the truck up, I would have been like, "Hey, can you hold up on this bumper for a minute while I?"
Well, like he said at first, when he spoke, he didn't speak back, and he kind of went back to doing what he was doing, and then it walked up closer. And that's when he stood back up and realized, he wasn't looking at a human.
Did he say how close it was when it was?
Well, I think it done got within 20 foot of him. That's how close it done got. And he told him he felt like it was going to jump on him. He felt like it. He felt like it was going to mess with him. And that's why he reared back with a tire tube and told it, "Hey, I'll wear you out with this thing," or whatever he told him. And that's when it went poop on all fours, went down there, and dove over that fence, went across that path.
I'm sure there were some cuss words being
Oh yeah.
utilized at that moment.
I would have loved to got to talk to him, but this guy I think passed away in the 90s, and so that was even before I got into Bigfoot. It'd been real good to really talk to him in person, to really get the full details, because of course I'm hearing it secondhand or third hand, whatever you want to call it. So, there's probably a lot more to that story that, he could have probably told it, could have pointed to a lot more stuff, or, what was going on there. But right out there in that area, there's already been sightings. In fact, there's a guy I need to call and talk to him that talked to me. They got some property out there not far from that area. And he told me, he said, I think there's, in fact, Patrick knows who I'm talking about, because Patrick was there that day I talked to the guy. He thinks they have some boogers on their property by some stuff going on out there. And I need to really, that's what hurts me this time of year. I'm so busy with farming and working. I can't really, it's hard to make an extra time to be going to people's properties. It's a lot easier to do in the winter. Plus, in the winter, you can see what you're getting into. This
and
time
it's
of
a
year,
little more, things are a little more active when you go in the wintertime.
Yeah. Well, and you got to worry about stepping on a million rattlesnakes. And
Now,
our areas eat up with rattlesnakes and copperheads. And
that's like that place we go turkey hunting, Western Maryland. You got to watch where you're stepping up there, because they got copperheads and timber rattlers and
yeah. So yeah, you have to really pay attention. And in winter, you're not dealing with the bugs or the heat or the snakes. And two, it seems like you find the footprints easier in the winter. To me, you find your footprints easier, than you do in the summer. Unless they're just out in the middle of dirt or on a creek bank. It seems like in the wintertime, you find tracks a little easier. Seems like to me. I might be wrong on that, but somebody may disagree. But
I was just thinking about something, Mark. That place where Jessica had her sighting at, isn't that close to that family where the cows and stuff would come up missing?
Oh yeah, same property. Yeah.
Yeah. They stopped raising cows, didn't they?
Yeah, all they're doing now is cutting hay on that property. They got out of the cow business because
they were losing calves or something, wasn't it? They were.
Yeah. He lost 9 calves in one spring.
Oh wow!
Couldn't find a trace of them. Couldn't find nothing from them. But they were finding tracks on their property. They were hearing the vocals at night. And his brother, when his brother was younger, actually got charged by a booger in an old logging road.
I don't remember you telling me that part.
Yeah. And he actually shot at it with a shotgun, and it turned broadside and went through the woods from him. I wish I could get them 2 guys to come on, but I'm not going. They're not going to do YouTube.
One of them actually shot at it.
Yeah. He hit it. He said he hit the thing. He said he seen hair fly off of it when he hit it. That's how close it was to him when he shot it with a shotgun. But he was walking old log road back toward their house. He'd been down there on the creek bottom hunting, and he was coming back, and he said, this thing just come out the road and started coming at him. And when it got pretty close, he just pulled up shotgun and let loose. And he said you could see hair flying off of it, and it turned broadside and went down through the woods.
Was he using buckshot or what?
No, he'd been squirrel hunting, so it was like number 6.
So he wasn't properly prepared.
Right. Well, I imagine whatever he hit probably didn't feel good after that, though, because all them little pellets going in you probably wasn't a good thing, But
now I wonder if that was before or after they had the calves going missing.
Oh no, this was back when this guy was a teenager. This was been back in the 90s.
So this has been going on for. That family's been going for years.
Right. Their whole family's seen them. The mama, the daddies, the cousins, a whole bunch has seen them. The neighbors in that area have seen them. you just ain't gonna get them to talk on YouTube or anything like that. They'll sit there and talk to me all day about it. And if some of y'all went with me, they'd talk about it. But as far as getting on or talking about it, they ain't gonna do it. And because I've tried 2 or 3 times to get them on, they said, "Nah, I'm not doing that."
I think there's a lot of that around here. It's just trying to talk, to sit down with somebody.
Right.
And I wouldn't have mind doing that, even if they wouldn't come on the show. I'd just like to know what.
Right.
There's a lot of places around here I keep seeing these Bigfoot signs in the yards, and I'm thinking maybe if I'm driving past there and I catch somebody out there in the yard doing something or something one day, I'm gonna stop in there and see what the deal is with that. Because I just seen one up here by Hickory the other day, Jerry.
What's that, buddy?
About an 8-foot Bigfoot cutout in somebody's yard.
Oh, really?
Erica mentioned we went driving around the other night, and I can't believe the amount of Bigfoot signs and little flags that people have in their yards between our town and the next town and the next town over. They're everywhere. So like you, Jeff, if they're outside, I might have her stop and ask, or me stop and ask, but, there is no way in hell I'm pulling into a driveway in this town in the country.
No.
I
don't think that's the intention for the sign. So.
Out here, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
So
get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've often wondered if some of that's just because that's a big thing now.
I'm sure it is.
Now, let me tell you something. Up there in Allegheny, where we were at for that festival, almost everywhere you go up there, there's Bigfoot signs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they sell Bigfoot in the little roadside stores and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've got, and you stop in that one town we stopped into when I met BJ Lapierre, our one guest. When I was up there and ran into her, there was like a little, I can't remember what town we were in, but it's like street vendors and they're always out there. And I was wearing all my Bigfoot stuff, and she's like, "You here for the festival?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well," she was telling me that she had heard a bunch of tree knocks when they were out horseback riding one time. I mean, anywhere you go up there, people would say, something about that. And I swear, you get into the places where you see all that stuff, you're thinking, yeah, there's a reason why everybody's.
We're right here with Pickett State Park, and we live somewhere near Pickett State Park and Big South Fork, which are all part of the Daniel Boone National Forest. They all turn into Daniel Boone, and these are big, forests or whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big area. It's a beautiful area up there too. That's a beautiful
area. Very
beautiful area.
I got to look into something Pat Noble brought to my attention today. He said that he was asking me if I checked in any of the Dogman sightings up in Maine. Apparently, there's been a lot of them. I hadn't really looked into that, but that one area that we hunt is real close to the Dogman of Palmyra incident. It's like an hour away.
Yeah. I've heard a good bit about Maine having dogmen. It seems like, some areas are stronger than others, but it seems like all areas are starting to produce something now. You hear a lot about it from Louisiana, Texas, Kentucky, parts of Tennessee, West Virginia area. But now you're starting to hear it a lot of other places. You're starting to hear it in Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, even Florida. It seems like, at first when I heard the Dogman stuff, at first I thought, well, maybe people are seeing a mutated Bigfoot. That's what I first thought. Maybe they're misidentifying what they're looking at. They're seeing a Bigfoot, maybe it's, something's wrong with it. But then the hype got really strong on it for a little while. And I thought, well, maybe it's just a hype thing a little bit, but now, no, it's not. It's not a hype thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe what people were saying before then, but I don't think it's a hype thing. I think people are finally coming out. They got to talking pretty good about seeing Bigfoot and getting comfortable with it. I think people are getting comfortable now telling their Dogman stuff, and there's no telling what else we're going to hear of further down the road, just like what Chad talked about, the Mothman. We could start hearing more and more about that. And, of course, you hear a little bit about the rake off and on. The rake kind of went up a little bit, and then it come down. But who's to say
there's
that?
There's one of those right across the river here.
Yeah. So you don't never, and I've heard several people around here saying that. There's a girl that works for Rebecca, whose son claimed that's what he's seen in their backyard one night. And not far from here, a few miles from here. So
what I've noticed, Mark, like Bigfoot, until people started talking about Bigfoot, you really never heard about Bigfoot, but people are starting to come out more and more. And when I was doing my research, when we were doing our research on Mothman, there's still reports all the time. I mean, the biggest area right now is in the Chicago, that part of Illinois and Wisconsin and even Indiana and Ohio. They're getting reports. I read one of them in Grove City, Ohio, just this year, or maybe it was last year. There was one standing on the side of the road. A guy described it just like every other thing, glowing red eyes, about 7 feet tall, just watched him drive by. I'm like, okay, now, no, again, I believe everybody until they prove me wrong. So
that's right. That's all you can do. And people tell me, so I'm going to, this is going to sound crazy, Mark, but I tell them, I say, look, I done heard the crazy. I've done experienced the crazy. So we all crazy together, So,
right.
Because I mean, I know some stuff seems like it gets real far out there in left field, but this stuff is left field. It's right field too. And when somebody tells you something, I got to take what they're telling me is the truth.
Well,
like you said,
I'm sorry, Mark. Please continue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I was going to bring up was the fact that all the people that say that there's no Bigfoot, there's no Dogman, we're also the same people that say there's no. I think it's called a coelacanth, which is a fish that died 6 million years ago, and they found them in Vietnam or something like that.
No, it was the island. I think it was like right off the Madagascar.
Something like that. Yeah.
The natives are like, we've been eating these things for years.
So they're still here, and that's the thing is these things that are out there that people have drawn on walls, have drawn on teepees, or drawn wherever.
And the natives are out there harvesting them, eating them every day.
And there's no doubt that in my mind that these things are still here. They're just they want to stay the hell away from us, and I don't blame them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, if you kind of notice, that's what most of them do when they're trying to they're trying to go the other way from you most of the time. Except for those on Creepy Mountain. I think they got to the point where they were used to us and maybe trusted us enough that they didn't leave and stayed around where we was at. We got to feed them there for a while, and other stuff started happening. They started leaving us stuff. It was simple stuff like rocks or flowers or acorns or hickory nuts. All they could do was leave what they had out there. And,
even wanted to help the guy change the tire.
Yeah. And I mean, I had a pine stump pulled up. There's no way. When I was trying to get that pine stump out of that ground, a lighter stump, for the hot, lighter pine. I had a come along hooked to that thing, 1.5 tons come along, jerking on that thing, and I gave up fooling with it. And I walked out there about a week later, and that thing was sitting out of the ground, out away from the hole. There's no way somebody came along and done that. Not after what all I'd done to it.
And was that there or your other place?
That was my first place where I first had them visiting my place. I feel to this day they moved it out of the hole for them. I believe the sucker's watching me out there working on it. You know? So,
They're just like, hey, maybe we can give him a hand tonight.
well, I don't know. They may have just, I don't know what the breed, it was out of the hole though. And and I'd had a ton and a half come along, hooked to it, and I dug around it, beat on it, and done everything I do to try to pull that thing out of the ground, and walk out there a week later and it's sitting out of the hole on top of the ground. I mean, that didn't make sense to me.
Now, how old,
Did you a favor.
like condition wise, how old was the stump and everything, like the roots and that?
Well, it is an old tree. I mean, it'd probably been cut 50, 60 years ago. But them lighter pine stumps, once it gets down to the hard, it don't rot. And I mean, it get hard as a rock. In fact, you take a chainsaw, you try to cut it up with chainsaw, sometimes it'll dull the chain. It's done got so hard. And so, and it was, I don't know, about this big around, maybe something like that, And I mean, I had to go down in there with the four-wheeler to drag it out. I had to hook the four-wheeler to drag it on up toward the house where I could get a chainsaw hold of it. And so something pulled it out of that hole. It didn't come out of that hole by itself.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
That is very interesting.
And that was about the same time they were visiting my house a lot. That's when they got my sister-in-law stirred up and had the neighbors stirred up down there in the neighborhood. And because everybody got talking about it for a while. What's going on down here? What's all this screaming at night? And, all this, I mean, they were, and I'm sitting here going, do I tell them what it is or do I stay quiet? So, and, I mean, there was a lot of stuff went on there for a couple of months, and then it just shut off. It just quit all of a sudden. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about it.
I wish I could get some of them to help me move some stuff around here. That'd be appreciated. Like, well, I mean, take that log over there. And
during that time, I keep having to have a 16-foot trailer moved around.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. Had that.
How far would they move it?
50, 60 foot, easily. For a while, I
thought like a horse or something was doing it.
I thought a horse may have been, putting his back, putting his feet on the back of it, and it, because it'll raise up, it'll move easy.
And you had a horse over there, didn't you?
I had 2 horses, but they wasn't ever fooling with them trailers. They never fooled with that trailer. So that's
a long way to push a trailer too, even for a horse.
Yeah. Well, and there wouldn't be no shoe prints on it from the horse either, or nothing. So that's what got me. I knew them horses wasn't fooling with that trailer because it'd sit out there for 2 years with them and never moved, except for me moving it when I needed it. Well, all of a sudden, with them 2 horses start playing with that trailer. It's just like all of a sudden. And this was in that same period where these things were coming to the house, So I think they were just playing with the trailer. I don't know. One of them may have stood up on it and that sucker went to moving. I don't know. But, I don't know what all went on during that time. I just know it got crazy around that house there for about, for a while. And then it just shut off like you turn off a light, and, nothing happened again after that. So I don't know if they got bored with me or I don't know what went on,
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could hire some of them to do some work for me. Be nice to get them to reset some of the deer stands.
Hey, Jeff, you got a pickup truck, drive up into the woods and see if it's like going to Home Depot and get all the help you want. Maybe all the Bigfoot will jump in your truck and get some work.
Just tell them, hey, I'll give you a gallon of milk every day for help.
And give them a couple bags of corn. Let them go up there to the silage trench at night, which they probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, the raccoons go and eat the corn out of there.
Yeah.
Why the hell wouldn't the damn booger do it?
Yeah.
They might like fermented corn. You don't know.
That's right.
Well, I've heard people talk about it. Used to, make whiskey out in the woods, a lot of times, their mash would disappear.
Yeah, I've
You
heard
know.
that story before.
So, and
Old Popcorn Sutton probably had a bunch of drunk Bigfoots up there on the mountain.
I imagine that'd be something else. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
He probably made some sort of pact with them. It was his security system up there.
Hey, you never know, and
That's probably how he got away with doing it for so long without getting caught.
yeah. Now, I don't think all of them are mean, wanting to hurt people. I mean, if they was, they'd be a lot of folks hurting.
Well, that one get with the tire changing, it sounds like it was just trying to see what he was doing.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I mean, I'd love to really got to talk to that guy on that, to really hear what he had to really say. Since, when it comes, several other people telling you, then you don't really get the full story behind it. But there's definitely something to that, In fact, right there within a half a mile of that, a friend of mine, when he was 12 years old, his grandparents had a place right there close by. They had a bunch of muscadine vines in her backyard, and they was all over there on a Sunday afternoon. The whole family coming over to visit their grandmas and them.
Sounds like someone just shot a cannon off. The hell? I shouldn't be able to hear APG's ballistics testing.
I was surprised my neighbor over there way over yonder ain't let loose with his rifle tonight. He'll usually bust off 100 rounds real quick, but I ain't never figured out why he does that. But
maybe he's got some visitors.
Well, he may do it. I don't know. But anyway, they all gathered up there on a Sunday afternoon, and like I said, he was about 12, 13 years old, and some of their cousins were younger, some of them were older, and they all went around into the backyard playing, and said all of a sudden one of the girls screamed and pointed up toward the muscadine vines, and when it did, they all looked up there, and there's about 6 or 7 of them said this big hairy thing was up there pulling muscadines out, eating them, watching them play. And when they went to screaming, of course, it stopped, looked at them, and turned, walked up in the woods.
Oh, there's another boom.
And I can't hear you.
It's coming out. I can hear it out here.
Huh.
Anyway, Mark.
Of course, they run around, told all the grown-ups what they just saw. And his grandma, their grandmother said, "No, don't worry about it. It ain't going to bother you. It comes down here every now and then." That was the end of it.
Wow.
And that was pretty close to where that guy had that flat tire that time. That being probably within a half a mile where that happened at.
They were interrupting his snack. He's like, "Damn it, they caught me."
Well, the way he talked, his grandmother already knew about him. And she said, "Don't worry about them. They ain't
Maybe that's why she had the vines out there.
Could be. I don't know.
I still say that if we talked, if more older people, by older, I'm saying older than me, so 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s and 80s, even, 90s, would talk about it more. I bet you'd hear more stories about them living, amongst, in the hills. They knew about them and everything.
Right. I agree. I don't think everybody was having problems with them. I think there's certain places, people's had some problems with them, and even maybe to violence and killing people, but I don't think it's a very prevalent thing. Yeah. Or not in my area. I mean, I don't think it is in my area. I mean, we got that Hollins thing, but we don't really know what got a hold of that guy. And we don't know how much that story is very true or not. We just know it's out there, And, so, and I mean, of course, everybody that's been there has had a lot of stuff happen there. There's no doubt they're there, and some other stuff's there, but, and I mean, of course, we know the guy really died there. I mean, his local said he did. So, but there's confusion with that because the locals say he had a heart attack, but yet one of the game wardens come out and said, no, it was an unknown animal that killed him. And then the guy was able to pull what we think was a official coroner's report, but don't know if it was or not. Really, I can't say if it was or not. I can't
Right.
prove it. So
let me say something before we get all this over with. Phyllis, I'm not calling those people old or you old. I'm just saying older than me. I don't want to offend anybody that's older than me. I'm just saying.
I don't.
What are you
I get
trying to
called
say?
Pawpaw at work, so I don't think nothing about it.
Yeah, I've just heard another 2 or 3 more big bangs. I don't know. Somebody's shooting a cannon or a damn Magnum rifle or
My neighbor's got a cannon.
what they're testing.
That thing will rattle the windows out of the house.
Maybe shooting at something over there. Somebody done stirred somebody up over there somewhere.
Might be the old folk next door getting crazy.
Jerry's second home.
Yeah.
Singing for the old folks.
Yeah, Hillary, I'm afraid now I might have offended Phyllis. I'm probably not going to be alive much longer.
Why'd you do that? Why would you do that, Blackie?
I apologize.
Wow, we're almost to 3 hours, guys.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yep.
Well, that happens when you're talking to your friends sometimes.
Yep.
Mark, you say you're on at noon tomorrow?
Well, the video will come out tomorrow at 12, and then it's a recording, so it'll come out at 12. Then here in the next week or so, I'll try to get with Spencer and David, and we'll try to have a live and go back over it. That way, if anybody's got any questions or wants to insert more into it, or
There you go.
that's what I've been thinking about doing with some of this is record people, then put it out, and then have them back on within a week or two to do more of a live question answer with people inserting. That way people can watch the video, think about it a little while, then come back and,
That's a good idea. It's a good idea.
and not knocking chats. Don't get me wrong, please.
Oh,
but I
I'll tell you
enjoy the
what.
chats. But sometimes I've noticed with lives and you have people on, they'll get to talking, and then there'll be a question come up. And I'm not saying nothing against that for no reason, because but it gets them off track sometimes.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So I figure if I do a recording and then do that, that gets both best of both worlds in there, And that gives that person time to talk and really maybe come out with, like when I done that with Mr. Terry, done that with Mr. Hickman and some other guys, it seemed like they really was able to talk a lot better without anything else going on around them, And then,
It's definitely tough to stay concentrating on what you're talking about when you've got, a question running across the screen that you want to comment on, but you're talking about something else.
Right. And see, sometimes that happens to me on me and Rebecca's live. A lot of times people will be asking questions and I don't even realize they asked them a question, or, I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to keep doing live chats, but I'm just saying I'm going to do recordings and live chats, try to get both, both worlds in there and give people time to really discuss how they want, what they want to say. And if they're willing to do a live, we'll come back and do a live, and get it going. So
that's a good idea.
I've heard like 10 big bore rounds go off.
Well, Jeff, you better take shelter.
Yeah.
It might be
coming down there toward Washington, D.C., is it? So,
no, it sounds like it's over towards between me and Jerry, it sounds like.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it here.
I don't know. You may have to go jump in the truck and go ride and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Could be.
Mark, thank you for sharing your experience, man. I've been wanting to hear that.
Yeah. I'm really glad you came on tonight, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on. And
yeah,
it's really got me to thinking a lot deeper on some stuff. Not saying I didn't already believe in it.
Wake
but
up
it
call.
it was kind of a wake up call that them things are right here on top of us, around us too, whatever that was. I mean, Dogman or whatever else you want to call it. Which, I mean, my corn patch picture told me it was here, but when you see it in person, that's a whole different ball game.
I bet.
I'll never. That'll be in my head till the day I die, because I mean, that was definitely something different to look at. I mean, it woke me up to really start paying. Not that I wasn't paying attention to people talking about it, but now I really pay attention to more what they're saying, and everything. So
Don't worry, Jerry. It's just a Canada Dry.
kind of like one of those Coke 45 for a minute.
Yeah. That's the good stuff there, buddy.
Hey, and Mark, I want to say one thing. I think you mentioned this on your live one night. You weren't, when you said you wanted to start talking about other things. Hey, brother, you ain't stepping on my toes. I want everybody to talk about everything. So if you talk about the same thing I talk about, we're just getting it out there further. So that's what I want.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
there's
some other places I've been wanting to go. Us being a homesteading channel too, I really need to put a lot more emphasis on it. Showing people how to do stuff that I can do. I'm not, of course, I'm not an expert at nothing, but there's some things I've learned. But also, people really just don't realize what's going on around us right now.
Right. Nope.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we're living in a time that we're living in probably one of the most, I don't know how you would put it. I ain't gonna say interesting times, because that ain't the right word for it. But we're living in some times that it ain't been in history in a long time now. That before in history, there's been some times like this, but I mean, we're living in a different time period when AI is basically taking over. We see everything else that's going on around us, and I'm going to be trying to be careful what I say, because I don't want to mess Jerry's channel up. But but that,
Jeff
I mean,
hasn't yet. You're fine.
Oh, look! Look who snuck in the bottom.
I see him. House is here.
Great.
One thing I want to say, Mark, is pay attention to movies that you've watched over the years, and look at a lot of those movies are starting to kind of come true, especially with your AI.
Yeah. You look at that. Of course, I watch a lot of biblical type YouTube. There's two guys I really pay attention to. There's some of the stuff I don't agree with them on, but hey, that's just part of. There's probably some stuff they won't agree with me on. That's fine, but because I can get along with anybody, even if I disagree with you. Unless you just get real belligerent with me, then that's a different ball game. But you know what I'm saying. They really hit on some stuff that people don't really look at, like the totalitarian empire that used to exist.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't even know that existed at one time.
Well, yep.
There's a lot of other things with the giants, the Nephilim. I mean, if you really start getting into that stuff, you start seeing it really existed. I mean, it was really here at one time, and it's coming back. I hate to say that. One day some of this is coming back. What in the world?
Well, Mark, I'm going to have you on. I'll get you soon, but I'll have you on and we'll discuss all of this. That'll be a fun episode.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, Chad, just holler at me, and
I will do.
Sure
we'll do. We're not going to do a show this Sunday, but I'll get a hold of you. I know Dan Hamilton wants to come on too, so
yeah.
But I know Jerry's ready to call it quits.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, and I mean, that's what I saw. That's all I can do with it is pay attention to what's going on, and
absolutely.
And if anybody sees something like that, if you've seen it, let me know. I know I got a couple people I got to call because they told me they sent me messages wanting me to call and talk to them. And I hadn't forgot them. I'm gonna call and talk to them, but they're here. They're here. There's no doubt. There's different things here.
Oh, before everybody goes, next week, Katie G and Dog.
All right.
We're going to talk about Hollins.
I won't be here.
Good.
Where are
Awesome.
you going to be?
I don't know. Probably be here. Just messing with you.
He's got a guest guy coming on, Jimmy Crablegs.
Oh man, you gave it away.
Yes, Kevin.
Mark never met him yet, did he?
Not yet.
Oh boy.
Well, I appreciate it, fellas. I really enjoyed it, and it's good to see everybody in chat tonight. And
yeah, chat was awesome tonight.
Yeah, you even got some of your people from your channel in here tonight.
Ballad.
I think all of them's our people.
That's right.
We get
Hillary's going to come on and sing the ballad.
I think
of Jimmy
everybody
Crabtree.
just goes in a circle, so
Yep.
that's cool.
Yep.
That's cool. I really like to see that all of us visit each other, and because I think a world of all these people, and there's a lot of them I still hadn't got to meet yet, but one of these days I will. Hopefully I will.
Well, we'll try to keep you away from the rough part of the state when you come to visit.
It's all right.
Well, I
Taking
definitely
the
want to
Milwaukee.
check out some stuff while we're there. And of course, Rebecca's really looking forward to Gettysburg. And of course, she's more into the paranormal. And
well, she'll get a boatload of it at that place.
Absolutely.
but I'm looking forward to seeing y'all's area, maybe seeing that state park, and whatever else we have time to look at. And and one of these days I'll be up in Tennessee, Chad, again. I have to come up in there and visit around with y'all some,
Yeah, please do. Please do. You have a place to stay if you come. So for sure.
I'm going to clean out my spare bedroom so I got room for the
Same here. I could put him. I ain't sleep in the RV, but that's kind of a weird. Yeah, come on, you can stay in my RV.
Hey, I've had a few people stay in my camper. They enjoyed it, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
because it gave them a little privacy, too.
Right. Sure. Yep. Yeah, you'll enjoy Gettysburg. There's plenty to do there.
100%.
On all subjects. It ain't just paranormal.
Yeah, there's everything.
Big hairy guys there too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the history part of it because I
absolutely.
love the
It's
Civil War
awesome.
stuff. And,
You how many days you going to try to spend out there? You're going to need more than one day.
well, me and her discussed that a little bit. Of course, we want to spend some time with y'all too, so
Right.
we may just have to. What we might have to do is come up, and maybe come back up, in a year or so again, or something, or something.
Sure.
Take it all in,
Yeah, we got to go south. Now.
Yeah.
Everybody's
y'all
coming up
do.
here now. Now we got to go south.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out so I can slip down there this fall maybe and go to Greg's, come over to see you, go to Coombo.
Yep.
Maybe if I got
Flat Rock.
to go over to Flat Rock.
You're just gonna have to break loose and come on.
That's right.
I know.
Yeah.
Pat Noble already told me if I flew down and met him, we'd ride over together.
Thank
Come
you.
on,
Mike.
y'all come on down. We got plenty of places for y'all to stay. We got spare bedrooms, campers. We got places for everybody to put at. So
See, there you go. You got campers.
yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to get away right now that many days. So.
I understand.
For me. So
I just have to have help lined up, and that's
yeah.
Well, that kind of does me and Rebecca the same way a little bit. We have to have a little help here, which Ella helps us a lot, especially since we done got goats and stuff. But that's the thing about farming. You can't hardly leave that farm much, And
I tell you, when
There's
my
something-
kid gets old enough to do more stuff, someone is going to be going on some
Yeah.
adventures.
Yeah. That's why I like when winter gets here. It gives me a little more freedom than in the summer. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Well, it was an awesome night.
Yep.
Sorry for the late people.
No. There ain't like we've never been this late before, so.
Well, some people just came in and now we're getting ready.
Oh, yeah. Well, they can always go back, jump back and watch it, so. What's that word they say? Circle back and watch.
We're going to do one here soon where we're going to have one where it's going to be recorded, but we'll be in the chat room.
We got to get that person lined up. Oh, yes.
We got a local guy.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. And that has not been I'll tell you, trying to get local people has been like pulling.
Yeah, I have two stories. If I just get them to, I don't think they're going to come on, but if I can just sit them down and they can feed me their information and make a story out of it. So,
and it's people that Jerry and I both know.
He's looking again. He's got something going on there. Maybe we better stick around a minute.
I'm waiting for that pot to get knocked off the hanger over there.
Well, I think something was thrown a while ago or something because that hit too hard. That hit too hard back here behind me. So I don't know what that was, but I don't think that was an acorn falling. It hit too hard, back here behind me somewhere.
Well, if your tractor lights are on tomorrow morning, you'll.
Yeah.
And sister's still out here with me, and I noticed she come over here closer to me after that happened. So I don't know. She got a little closer to me, hanging out. So, but I really enjoyed it, and
I saw I shine.
Appreciate y'all having me on and everything.
Absolutely. I thought I saw some eye shine behind you, but I don't think it was.
That may be
not to alarm you.
That may be the bird dogs back there.
All right. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, and sounds like a good show coming up next week. So it'll be next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Right, Jeff? Who we got again?
Katie G and Dog.
Katie G and Dog. Okay, sounds great.
Chad,
thank
you.
you,
Another Alabama guy. Got another Alabama guy.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot goes on down here.
Yeah. You're like the Pacific Northwest on the East Coast.
I got tire changing boogers and, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Got all kinds of pulling stuff for you. Just need to get them build some fences for me.
And everybody have a great Labor Day weekend too. I forgot about that.
Yes, absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
Be careful and be safe. Be careful.
And the kids go back to school next week. Whew.
Freedom at last.
They already been back in school here in Alabama.
Same here in Tennessee.
They just started high school football last Friday night. So.
Yep,
Wow.
Same here.
Yeah, PA's already back in. My girlfriend's son's already all that high school football's already starting. So she's getting run through the ringer right now, and she's running the concession stand too. So she got her hands full for the next few weeks with football.
Football.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate you being on, helping us out tonight.
Thank you, brother.
And of course, Mark Green, you'll be again a video coming out tomorrow at noon, and then I'm sure your show will be Thursday night, I believe.
It'll be Friday this week.
Friday night. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's screwing everybody up, but that's me and her wanted to try to keep our lives going every week, and it was just getting to be too much for Rebecca trying to come in, feed animals, and try to do a live by herself. And we talked a little bit about it, but if I get back on straight days, maybe able to go back to Friday nights all the time again. And because I know I hate, that we're jumping right there when Roger's trying to come on now, and then also Jessica Jones. So I kind of hate that, but we wanted to keep moving forward, keep our live going regular too, so.
Sure.
But it seems like it's working out for everybody. So,
yeah.
People can always come back and watch. No
oh, yeah. And we try to keep the Thursday night live pretty short. So,
Okay. All right, we're going to skedaddle out of here. Appreciate everybody coming in. Big
I
love to
appreciate
chat,
it.
everybody. And hey,
Yep.
I guess we'll see everybody next Tuesday. Stick around backstage, guys. We'll be right back. Everybody
right.
else, good night. Thanks for
All right,
joining.
love y'all. Y'all be good.
Big love.
Have a
Big love.
good
Big
weekend.
love.
Say.
Big love. Big love.